is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Good Friday morning. Hope you're getting ready for a big weekend here, and welcome into the Fan Morning Show. James Boyd, Kevin Bowen, fresh off spending all day long. I saw both you guys out there at Colts camp yesterday, the final day up at Grand Park, joint practices with the Green Bay Packers. And I think we were all leaving after yesterday thinking there's still no answer at quarterback for the Colts. And even a bigger question at this point in time, now that we're getting ready for the second preseason game, I'll ask you first, Kevin. Do they have a quarterback? Like, the quarterback that's on the roster now is the starting quarterback next year?
As in 2026?
Yeah, because I don't see that either guy is really a quarterback after watching yesterday. I don't know. Maybe that's too harsh based on...
the entire other way.
Well, but, I mean, at some point, when do you continue to make strides forward? We saw Daniel Jones being Daniel Jones yesterday. To your point in your article that you wrote in The Athletic, James, even his former teammates that are now on the Packers are like telling him, just start throwing the ball downfield, dude. Just start. Try.
Yeah.
Kevin, I talked to you yesterday, and kind of you confirmed what I was seeing too. I'm going opening a question. I was just like, hey, what do you think? And you're just like, Dinkin and Duncan's not going to win in the National Football League.
Yeah, I guess I would start here if I could maybe put quarterback just to the back burner for a second.
What?
I thought the entire offensive operation was an abomination yesterday. And honestly, I think it started with the group that you're supposed to feel the best about, and that's the offensive line. 2 P words, penalties and protection. That was clear issues.
Mark got excited there.
Yesterday there. And then, obviously, off of that, yes, your quarterbacks certainly look like I don't know. That was probably their worst they've been all camp. The Richardson experience, probably a little bit like in-game. Yes, you have the great highlight at the end, but 9 of 20 with an interception. You know, it's like, oh, boy. And Daniel Jones, I thought had his one of the more struggling days, especially with that late pick there. So, yeah, the offense. Just they say save your best for last, and that was probably their worst.
So here's the thing. Look, Mark and I were talking about this before the show started. Anthony Richardson is young. You're hoping that he takes a step forward. You know, he still hadn't played an entire season worth of games when it comes to starting quarterback in the NFL. And so you have a slight glimmer of hope there. I still say he's your starter because I certainly didn't see anything. I guess I'd rather have the guy that can make some big plays at some point in time because Daniel Jones doesn't even seem like he's interested in making big plays sometimes. Am I missing it there, James?
I don't know. I mean, that is the knock on Daniel Jones, is that he is a conservative passer, conservative player. Now, I do wonder how much of that was just because of the scheme and also the lack of personnel and talent around him in New York. I will say I think that Indianapolis has a better infrastructure around him. But beyond that narrative, I think, to Kevin's point from yesterday, even in my article when I was talking about Xavier McKinney, by the way, is the player that Jeff was referencing that was kind of trolling Daniel Jones and telling him to throw the ball down the field. They played together for 4 years in New York, and obviously Xavier McKinney was a first-team All-Pro last year. He was actually not practicing yesterday due to a calf injury, but him saying throw the ball down the field was just him trolling Daniel Jones because he knew, one, that's not really his nature, and two, he had no time. And that's what Kevin, I think, really alluded to. Because even though Daniel Jones, I think I had him 13 of 16, Kevin, or something in that range in team drills, half of those passes that he completed were probably sacks in real games. And then even when he did complete passes, they were going nowhere really. So it was a rough day, and we can get into a lot more, obviously, when it comes to the injury front. There was a notable injury yesterday to a key Colts player. And then on top of that, I just think that it was, as Kevin said, a rough day offensively overall.
James, there are times where I think the joint practice are beneficial for us because our eyes are trained to watch the Colts. We now have watched them for, 13 straight practices. And so one thing I do enjoy about the joint practices is not just, oh, wow, Latu is also cooking Green Bay offensive linemen. Like, oh, yeah, that's a good thing. Or, again, the reverse of it, the Colts are struggling against Green Bay's defense. I find it beneficial, but I also enjoy getting the perspective of the other team's beat reporters. And, like, they're watching the Colts for the first time. We're watching Green Bay for the first time. And one of the Green Bay writers said afterwards, the Colts offense is a joke. It's putrid. So, like, I find it, okay, we watch this offense every single day. Let's hear a different perspective. Someone that watches a good offense, theoretically, with Jordan Love yesterday. I thought the Colts defense walked into there needing to be the better unit, and they were the better unit against Malik Willis. But that just kind of summed up the whole day for me. And that red zone period, James, I forget the final count. I want to say it was north of 20 plays.
I think I had it at 24 plays between both quarterbacks. I want to say it might have been a dead even split or close to it. And they had one touchdown from 15 yards in.
All in the red zone. Yeah, I mean, all even closer than the red zone there. So, yeah, I mean, to sum it up, it was a very rough day offensively in multiple areas. I want to stress that. Multiple areas. And defensively, I thought Latu started practice with a sack, ended it with a sack. Again, they walked in there with the upper hand, considering no Jordan Love and where Green Bay is at wideout-wise. But you know what? The Colts are missing a ton of corners as well. And I thought they had a really nice day. And we'll get to that injury. And also, I'm a little nervous if this kicker thing is back on.
Yeah, I saw you did a nice video recap of practice yesterday, too. I saw when I got home. Both of them hit 60-plus yarders, which is good. That's Mark, can we have a ding on that one right there?
Correct.
Yeah, I like that. Both of them were good from more than 60. But then there was also a problem from under 40 at one point
Spencer Schrader
in time,
wide right from 33, which, of course, is the extra point distance there. So, James, I think he's built up enough goodwill that that isn't, the most alarming thing in the world. But if he were to miss one or two in the game, I guess, on Saturday, oh, boy. The quarterback competition stretch into the back half of August is enough for me. I don't think I can handle the kicker competition stretch into the back half of August either.
Yeah, I was thinking, honestly, could anybody on this team ever make it easy? Just make the kick. Because when he missed from 33, I was like, what are you doing? And he made it from 63, and I was like, well, wait a second. I might want to rethink what I was just thinking, 30 seconds ago. However, the kicking game in practice is similar to how I view quarterbacking because no one is rushing you. And I find that always kind of funny with the kicks. Like, no one's going to contest and block it. So, obviously, you want to make them in those settings. And, obviously, from 33, you definitely want to make it. But I do wonder in a real game, what does that mean for either kicker?
So, let me ask you both this question. It's fresh. We were out there. We were watching it yesterday. Are we making too much out of 1 2-hour sample size? Or is this more indicative of a larger problem that just keeps continuing to surface in front of us?
I think it's a good question. I think anytime you have these moments during camp, that's a question that needs to be asked. And James, you were in Baltimore last week. By all accounts,
it didn't look like this, honestly.
It was a 180.
Yeah.
The Colts offense had a really productive day. Now, I think anytime stuff happens in training camp, I always try to remind myself, all right, where's the context around it? Where's past precedent? And with this offensive operation, past precedent would lead you to think that days like yesterday are more indicative of who they are. But again, against Baltimore, they were pretty good. So, right now we're 3 of the bigger evaluation periods into this. We'll have one more coming up tomorrow. We'll have one a week from Saturday. Baltimore, seemingly, if you just want to summarize it very shortly, good day for the offense. Joint practice. The game, not good. And then yesterday, not good. So 2 not good, 1 good so far. Again, we only have 3 of these that we've watched. And if you're going to tell me that the Colts are going to go play football this year and the offense is going to operate at a level of every third game, 1 is good and 2's bad, I'd probably say, yeah, that wouldn't be the most shocking thing. I come back to that offensive line. Like that, this offense is not potent enough to have penalty and or protection issues. They're just not. This is not some high-flying greatest show on turf that can live in 2nd and 15. And when you have the amount of issues they did yesterday in those areas, it's just an absolute recipe for disaster. So start there. If you can clean up some of that stuff and again, penalties were a huge issue in the Baltimore game. They had over 100 yards of penalties in that Baltimore game. So that is, I think, you could probably look at it 2 ways. One is those are areas you have been good in, so maybe they are the anomaly, but if they're not the anomaly, then all of a sudden this offensive operation, I think, is a bigger worry than any of us thought.
All right, we'll talk about this with you guys all day long, and you can feel free to get a hold of us on the fan text line at 239-1070. You can call us up, 239-1070. Pacer schedule was released yesterday. We'll be talking about that quite a bit. The Fever back on the court later on tonight. Got that going on. The Colts getting ready to actually play a preseason game with the Packers after joint practices yesterday. With the offense, not so much. And Mark, you're getting love already on the text line this morning. How
I
about
see that? I'm responding right now.
Yeah, it says, good morning, guys. Dakota from Orlando, Florida, checking in after a long graveyard shift. Always love listening to the show after working all night. Question, who's the greatest producer of all time? Medib? Kanye West? Nope. Give me Mark Dykton. How about that right out of the gate?
Jeff, look over there. Mark has got 4 phones over there. I mean, that is unbelievable. He's got a burner
We've
phone.
got so
And you
many
know
burners.
what?
He's got more than Jason Bourne.
Do you guys see the tees from Mark Dykton right now?
I do not see the tees from Mark Dykton.
Unbelievable.
How about that?
Mark Dykton, what is behind your left shoulder?
I can't see it.
I don't know. Oh, the blue Powerade? Oh, yeah.
He put it solely in your line of sight.
It's
Did you notice
frosted
that?
over and everything.
Unbelievable.
He put it in your line of sight.
Mhm.
Like we're going on our first date and he wore something that, he probably shouldn't have worn walking out of the house, Mark Dykton. What a tease right there.
I'm dangling the carrot in front of you. You got some good takes
and
today.
not only is
this
it a
could be
blue
yours.
Powerade, I can see the temperature of it. And it looks cold.
Yep. Frosty.
You notice he put it
I
where
hate
only
you, Mark.
only Kevin could see it. Did you notice that, James?
Hey, he knows what he likes.
All right, show continues in a moment. We got a lot for you this morning. Stay with us, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Down on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good morning. If you missed it yesterday, the Indiana Pacers had their schedule release yesterday, along with most other teams in the NBA. There are 9 nationally televised games for the Pacers, even without Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner this year.
I have to go back and look, but I'm not sure if the Miles Turner return is a nationally televised game, but it'll be nationally televised for me because I will find a way to watch that game. We'll be there in person. Monday, November 3rd, Miles Turner returns to Booze at Gamers Fieldhouse.
Yeah, it's a pretty varied schedule. The only team they play twice on national TV, Kevin, would be the Boston Celtics, which is kind of interesting
times. 9 times.
9.
I did see of those 9, 4 are on the old Peacock action, so the Cocker gets 4 of the 9 games, and I believe all of those are at home. So for our, people that love to attend Pacer games but don't love to stream, you get the benefit of that. A little too front-loaded for my liking. I was kind of hope it'd be flipped there, but you got your usuals. You got the big Disney on Ice, so they're out on a long road trip in January. You've got Big Ten Women's Tournament in early March, so that is a West Coast trip there. And yeah, you mentioned Pacers Celtics. Remember, the Celtics didn't get on Christmas either with the Jason Tatum situation.
Yeah.
So, but the NBA put them the next day. So December 26th, you don't get Christmas, but you get whatever, Kwanzaa or whatever starts the day after Christmas. You get that.
Well, if you're right, in some households, Christmas just lasts like 10 days, right?
Well,
It's just all the
that
time.
as well.
Let's go.
One thing I did kind of nerd out over the West Coast games, again, you get one time with Cooper Flag, one time with LeBron, Luka, Steph. I looked at that. I don't believe any of those are Western teams on a back-to-back. So many people are freaking out over, oh my gosh, is Steph going to play? Is he not going to play? So that's good news with your schedule. Victor Wembanyama included in that.
All right. Also, to your point, James, the Milwaukee game, the first time they come here early in the season, it'll be the 3rd of November, 7 p.m. on a Monday night for the return of Miles Turner.
Do we like a Monday?
It's going to be a Friday
Monday
for
Night
me because I'm
Basketball.
pulling up. I got to be there. I have to see this. For 2 reasons. It's either the Pacers win and you get to talk crazy to them on their way out, or the Bucks come in and tell y'all, you know what? Yeah, you ain't got your best player, but take this L. So I just love the animosity that will be brewing.
You think Turner should just block it up for that game? Get
Turner's block is going to be interesting that night.
20 or 30 diehard Miles Turner fans, and all of a sudden turn it into a little student section for himself.
We need to hear from. I know.
Oh no, I need like the heel turn, Mark style, where they pretend to have the Miles Turner block return,
Rip off the Bucks
and
jerseys.
then they go nuts and be like, forget you.
Do the John Cena heel turn where you look like your friends, give a hug, and then right square in the nuts, right
Yeah,
there.
that's what we need.
That's what happens on a Saturday afternoon in your household when you guys are doing WWE.
That's
Isn't
the reason
it?
why we're stopping at 3.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so that's what's going on with the Pacers. As far as the Indianapolis Colts, we'll start with you, Kevin Bowen. You were not impressed by the effort, maybe not the effort, but the results yesterday against the Green Bay Packers in joint practices.
Execution offensively lacking, to say the least. Yes. Now, I thought defensively they did a really nice job. And again, Latu against a healthy Green Bay offensive line, started practice with a sack and ended it with it as well. They benefited from Malik Willis' life, but still, good day for the defense. But yes, offensive operation as a whole, ugly. And James Boyd, I thought what kind of summed up the day and put a sour taste to it was one Josh Downs reaching back for that hamstring there late in practice, eventually walked inside with a member of the athletic training staff.
Yeah, he knew he was hurt immediately. I was standing right there on the sideline when he came off, and so it looked like he was getting his left hamstring evaluated, but as we know, once you start pulling at the hamstring, your day is over. And now my question is, will you be available for week 1?
So what is that, 3 weeks from Sunday? Is that where we're at?
Pretty much. So,
and we see, obviously,
Hopefully it was a little tweak.
Hamstring injuries can be in the multi-week area. And remember, he missed last year, week 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And what happened in week 1 and 2?
They did not look good in weeks 1 and 2.
Loss. So I think Josh Downs is a critical piece. Now, Anthony Gould, I do think here in year 2 can kind of would be the guy to step up into that role, but still, it'd be a disservice to Josh Downs if he acted like that's just a seamless passing of the torch.
Nick asks in the text line, he said, are we really considering Amazon and Peacock games nationally televised? It's like, Technically, they're nationally available. Maybe that's the terminology we need to use.
Yeah, that is a good point. I did see that, and I was like, wow, it's getting like the NFL where you're going to have
That's
the
how it's going to be.
channels and platforms to watch all the games.
To Nick's point, I believe it's just 1 ESPN, 4 Peacock, and 4 Prime. And if you look at the NBA calendar now, it's kind of like yes, you have your ESPN and ABCs, but it's like the start of the week, Peacock, the end of the week, Prime. If you stream out there, that's what you need.
So my question is, I believe the Peacock, does that mean it still gets shown on NBC? Because that's how
like a simulcast kind of?
that's how the NFL does their games on Peacock. You can still get it on.
I don't think
locally,
NBC,
yes, that is true. Like every streamed game
That's what I mean, locally, yes.
shows up locally.
So hopefully that is the case.
Boy, that is a good question.
So does that mean that even like
I believe the local affiliate has the option to carry
Because the
it, is
Fever
what it
do
is.
that, right? Don't they do
Yeah.
Amazon Prime games are on WTHR?
Yes, exactly.
so is that going to be the case where like Prime games are still going to be? Are they
know
going to be
what?
on Bally's? And
I
you
don't
still
know
have to
that.
have-
We will get Chris Deneri on nice and early for you all next week to answer a lot of these questions.
He's up every day, I'm sure. All right, moving on. We've got the Indiana Fever back at home tonight. They will take on the Washington Mystics this evening. Still no Caitlin Clark, but they're trying to bounce back and get back on the winning track after suffering a tough loss to the Dallas Wings just the other night. You'll hear that one beginning at 7:30 with the tip time tonight here on 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. You can hear Eddie Garrison with the Fan pregame show beginning at 7:15.
Big favorite, Fever.
Yeah, I believe that is the 12th missed game for Caitlin Clark tonight, but hopefully the team is in good spirits. They went to the State Fair recently and saw Sophie Cunningham, and City Colson was actually out there as well after her ACL injury, and so hopefully the good vibes from the State Fair carry over to tonight.
Shout out
Sophie-
to Sydney
yeah.
Colson. I cannot imagine.
She's already out there
crutching it up at the State Fair.
in a pen with goats and stuff.
I was like, damn, good for you.
To be honest, though, she has a great spirit about
I
herself,
know,
so
but
I'm not really
damn.
surprised by
And
it.
speaking of that, did you see Tyrese Halliburton throw out the tweet of feels good to put 2 shoes on again?
Yeah.
I need those shoes. Those shoes are fire.
These are very nice.
Those
did-
go on sale. They
those
will
did look
be in my
crispy.
rotation.
All right, moving on, Major League Baseball. Just one game of interest locally yesterday. The Toronto Blue Jays over the Chicago Cubs, Mark. 2-1 was the score
Cubs
in
stink.
Toronto.
Cubs stink right now.
Well, could I push back on the local interest? You said just un game.
Well, between the Reds, Cubs, we like to talk about them. I'll throw in the Cardinals
Well,
every once in a while. The Indians.
If
beat
you
the
call yourself a
Scranton
Reds
Wilkes-Barre.
fan, you're rooting against the New York Mets right
Well,
now.
and
I
the
would say
Mets-
that is of local interest. Thank you to the Atlanta Braves
Yeah.
for that 4-3 victory as the Reds inch closer in the wild card. A half game back.
The Mets are full on collapsing too. I think they've lost like 12 of their last 14 or something.
I
Music
think the
to
whole
my
city
ears
of New
right now.
York is doing that right now. The Yankees are falling apart. The Mets are falling apart. And football's about to start in New York City, so they're off and running as usual in the fall.
Here's the tough news, Kevin. Maybe this is the time to cool them off, but the Reds start a series with the Brewers tonight. It'll be in Cincinnati, but the Brewers have won 12 in a row.
Yeah, I'm going to be rooting for your Reds this weekend, and,
Say that. Can you clip that?
yeah,
Say that
I'll
again.
clip it. I'm going to be rooting for them, but they better get it done. Otherwise, they're dead to me.
No, gee. Well, thank you. Boy, that's
You
that's
might
a
you
real.
might be in a world of hurt come Monday morning if they get on the struggle bus this weekend.
Am I allowed to give a nerdy golf shout out?
Oh, sure.
Shout out to the great Jacob Modleski, the pride of Pebblebrook, the pride of Garin, a top 5 athlete in the history of Hamilton County. He is currently in the final 8 at the U.S. Amateur at the Olympic Club. If he wins 2 more matches, this man heads to the Masters. If he wins 3 more matches, he's paired up with Rory McIlroy in the Masters coming up in 2026. Shout out to Jacob Modleski.
Is that in San Francisco? the Olympic
In
Club?
San
Yeah.
Francisco, beautiful. I was locked in last night as he beat Paul Cheng 1-up on the 18th.
He's
hole.
living Kevin's dream right now.
Electric athlete. One of the best we've ever seen in the state of Indiana here. An incredible accomplishment that he is having right now.
That's
out
pretty
there
cool. Yeah.
At the Olympic Club. The U.S. Amateur, for those unfamiliar, basically the best, I think, college, high school golfers in the entire world playing together. The winner and the runner-up both get entries into the Masters.
And some of the winners of that have gone on to have tremendous professional
Phil Mickelson,
careers.
winner. Tiger Woods won, not 2, but 3 in a row.
Yeah. All right. More on Colts camp
Do
yesterday.
you
The
think
release of the
2%
Pacers
of our
schedule.
audience cared about that?
I think a little more than that. I think local athletes making it big. It's always good.
Skim milk is like 1%.
Wow.
Okay, so
See, that was just
you're going to go from
clapback.
2 to 1.
That was just clap back because he said something nice
Yeah,
about
that
the
was kinda
Reds.
slick.
That's all that was.
I ain't gonna lie, that was smooth, Mark.
No, James, it's bad enough he's got a burner phone over there from Orlando texting the
Nah,
text chain to
now we
compliment him.
see. Yeah, now we see where these texts are coming from. Okay,
Yeah.
Mark.
Kevin, this blue Powerade is unopened. It could be yours. You better play nice today.
More in a moment on 93.5
I like
and
Blue Powerade.
107.5, The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good Friday morning to you. Welcome into the Fan Morning Show. Colts had their final joint practice with another team of the preseason yesterday. They're taking on the Green Bay Packers. They will go up against the Packers in a preseason game on Saturday afternoon. And we're going to have lots of traffic problems, and we'll get to that a little bit later on. But in the meantime, Kevin Bowen, we were talking about it earlier for those just joining us. It was a less than stellar performance for the Colts offense at joint practices yesterday. Am I being kind by saying it that way?
Perhaps a little. And again, I'll go back to penalties and protection issues. I think that was the root of it, particularly early on. And, you know, I think there is a propensity for a few more flags to be. There were NFL officials yesterday at practice. A few more flags to be thrown this time of year to emphasize some things, particularly illegal formations, something Shane Steichen was frustrated with post-practice. And again, your offense is just not dynamic, potent, electric enough to overcome fundamental stuff. And that's what that is. And you've invested way too much into your offensive line for that to be a problem. And James, I'm a little unsure how much to make of it, but I will say a player that I think has been very reliable throughout his career, who I have a little bit of a question on his training camp so far, would be right tackle Braden Smith.
I knew you were going there. I put that in my story yesterday as well.
And it's not like, I don't want to act like everything offensive line is Tanner Bortolini and Matt Gonzalez and the new guys at center and right guard. I mean, there has been, Latu has definitely had his moments with them. And then I thought yesterday, and I don't think, I mean, judging by the Green Bay side of it, it's not like they're, I know your colleague over there, who is it, Matt, what's his name?
Matt Schneidman,
Yeah. Like, it's not like they were acting like the Green Bay pass rush has been, you know, pin their ears back and just super disruptive all camp long. So yeah, Braden Smith, that's just one. I don't know. I'm gonna circle that one for the regular season.
Yeah, you know what? I think all of us were saying Latu was having such a great camp, and I'm not saying he isn't, but I do question now, okay, you were going up against your teammate for an extended period of time, so maybe you just kind of read them a little bit easier than others. But seeing how the other defensive linemen on the Green Bay Packers looked against Braden Smith yesterday, I'm like, man, did I overrate, Latu's preseason a little bit just because he's going up against Braden Smith, who struggled, I think, noticeably yesterday against the Packers. So to your point, Kevin, I agree. It's something to keep, an eye on for sure. And in a way, if you have questions at 3 of the offensive line spots, obviously that becomes the majority of your offensive line. And I don't think that's a good thing. And as we've said, it's kind of flown under the radar that they replaced 2 starters. And additionally, Braden Smith is going into a contract year. And so there's a lot to still be, developed or for us to assess going forward.
A couple of things. At one point, I walked over to Kevin Bowen, who was in between. The defense of the Colts was down on the south end, the south field. The offense was working against the Packers on the north field. Kevin Bowen was smack in between, almost like a tennis match. His head just swiveling back and forth, back and forth.
Well, that's great. Somehow, that's how you break it down, Jeff.
I know, and he had it. Like, he was processing everything. It was perfect. But I had to go and spend some time down watching the defense. Can I just shout out one other guy who continues to impress me? He's got a ways to go, young, 7th rounder. But Hunter Waller made a couple of nice plays yesterday.
He had a big play there and breaking up a pass. I mean, his physicality on full display. At one moment, he was chatting with Matt LaFleur and Shane Steichen. I didn't know if that was a little Wisconsin love for the former Badger there. And yeah, he continues really for the last week or so. He's been a starter with Nick Cross still out. The other defensive injury to note from yesterday, we mentioned Josh Downs. Samson Ebukam, who's coming back from a torn Achilles. He did leave early with a back injury. So when you think about defensive ends right now, Kwity Paye and him now both sidelined. I think those two with Latu are kind of the rotation there. A little bit of Tyquan Lewis I would throw into that mix as well. James, how would you summarize the day for one Adonai Mitchell?
Frustrating. And I say that because he looked great in one-on-ones. You had the play, I believe. I need to go retweet this, actually, because it was hilarious.
You got a great video of a great catch that he made.
Yeah, so Kevin got the video, and I would encourage you all to check it out, during one of the commercial breaks, where he makes this incredible catch down the sideline. And as Kevin accurately captioned, A.D. Mitchell, the showman. He gets up and he's showing the crowd, he's dancing. And again, you just think, wow, that dude is so talented. He's so dominant in those settings. And in the team settings, I thought when there was a little bit more simulated physicality, he blinked first. And so he was actually talking.
Gosh, that's a great way to put it. Can you say that again? Did you say simulated physicality?
Yeah. And I say that because, so for example, the two plays I'm alluding to are two plays across the middle. And on one of them, he beats his man, like a drum, and he's coming back to the football, and it's across the middle. And in a real game, you're probably going to get hit. And this is also why he's talking trash to their DBs. He's telling them, I'm going to do this and do that. Get your opportunity. You go out there, you drop the ball, and not only do you drop it, it slips through your hands and goes straight to the other guy for a pick, and probably would have been a pick six in a real game. Then, you got to tuck your tail, go back to the huddle. Very next play, Daniel Jones hits him again in stride, and he, makes the catch this time, does a football move, so to speak, and then the Packers safety reaches in and rakes the ball out, and he fumbles. And now I get it, it's not a live setting, but at the same time, in a real game, they're going to do that. And the fact that you couldn't hold on to the ball for a second straight play, at least to a second straight turnover, that to me was the A.D. Mitchell experience. I was thinking, what's going to happen on Sundays when you actually have to get hit or raked at, or it's not just, basically a car show and everything looks good until you step on the gas.
Boy, I think that was so well said, all of it. Yeah, you got the full experience at Grand Park yesterday if you were looking to see what A.D. Mitchell was. The one-on-one stuff, it is the oohs and ahs he creates from the crowd in creating separation. And obviously
that catch you got video of was fantastic.
Obviously that play, that was just a horribly underthrown ball by Daniel Jones, and A.D. Mitchell bails him out. And then he definitely is one that plays to the crowd, probably more than really any other wideout, I would think, on the team. And then, as James points out, he then has two massive mistakes in 11-on-11. I thought the ball that went off his hands for the interception, I thought that might have been Daniel Jones' best throw of camp. Here's Jones throwing a beautiful on-target 20, what was that, 20, 30 yards down the field, and boom, it goes from chunk play to turnover. And then later on in practice, you get the final 2-minute drill, and just to set the scene for it, minute 12 on the clock, one timeout. You got to drive the length of the field. Anthony Richardson is in there with the starters. A.D. Mitchell is a starter yesterday because Alec Pierce is still out. They have, I think it was Anthony Gould, Michael Pittman Jr., and a beautiful catch by Tyler Warren. Boom, boom, boom to start the drive. And then Mitchell draws a huge pass interference penalty. Green Bay could not guard him yesterday. He drew several flags, and boom, you're at the goal line right there. So it's just, James used the word frustrating. I think we've talked about this before with Mitchell. I don't know if there's a player on the roster, more so than maybe even Richardson, that is that talented and that frustrating. Because the thing with Richardson is, again, in college, we yet to really see it. He had the moment against Utah, and, for a moment there, it's like, oh my gosh, is this the September Heisman Trophy darling that we seemingly get every year in college football? Mitchell had touchdowns in national title games right here at Lucas Oil Stadium. He had touchdowns in big playoff games. So I don't know if there's a player on the roster that's more talented, yet more frustrating than him. And I thought yesterday, if you paid $5 or $10 to show up to practice, you got the full experience of number 10.
This is from the text line. Mark, you verified this, right? Good morning, guys. Chris Ballard here. Should I be worried about the offensive line play after last night's practice, especially considering Anthony Richardson's glass body? How about that, James?
I would definitely be concerned about the offensive line, but I don't know what else to say to a comment like that.
It's just nice that Chris is checking in there, or at least someone pretending to be
right.
Chris.
I was gonna say
he likes his guys.
I do have a real relationship with the guy. I got to talk to him in real life, so I'll steer clear of that one.
So we will continue to talk about the Colts and their joint practice with the Green Bay Packers yesterday. Also, we've got the Indiana Pacers schedule release yesterday. 9 nationally televised games, I guess, depending on how you want to classify nationally televised, some on Amazon, some on Peacock.
Nationally available is what I'm rolling
But
with.
there are a lot of people wondering,
frame it.
does that mean we're going to get, especially with some of these, we're going to get Michael Grady on the call for some of these Pacers games? That would be cool.
That would be cool. That'd be full
I'll
circle.
take that.
What a legend from around here as far as the voices go.
Well, hell, he did game one of, what was it, the Bucks or the Cavs series?
Mhm.
One of those two. Yeah, one thing that stood out to me, again, I kind of wanted to see a little bit more backloaded. I think right out of the gate, it's difficult. You start with Oklahoma City, and then you go on a 3-game road trip, Memphis, Minnesota, and Dallas. Obviously we'll see the health for Dallas especially, but that to me is a little difficult. Then you return home. I think Atlanta is a team a lot of people are higher on this year. They could be a surprise team, I think, in the East. Milwaukee, the Turner game back here in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Again, that is Monday, November 3rd. That is certainly one to circle on the calendar. So no Turner's block. Dustin has informed me of this. And yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, Miles Turner no longer plays here. What do you guys like here? Toppin's Throng? Pascal's Pack?
Mhm.
Boy, not everybody at once.
What was the one that Jay-
I'm listening to the
Nemetary.
list.
Yeah, Nemetary is
The
the one I want.
Nemetary.
I like the
I want
Nemetary.
that
That's
one.
good.
The Nemetary is very good. Huff's Herd?
He got I
No,
can't
he
be.
got to earn a
Yeah,
little.
plus
earn
he
it.
got to earn something.
What do you mean?
I'm not giving you nothing until you play.
He can put on jersey number 33. Miles is gone. This
I mean,
is Jay
yeah, he
Huff's
can wear
world.
33, but 33 did a lot more than uniform
Do you
than
like
he has.
Pascal's Patrons or Pascal's Pack?
like
Pack
Pack.
better than patrons.
What do you mean? This is not Augusta National
Anything
where
for TJ?
Jacob Modlewski might
Yeah.
be playing.
I was
come
gonna
April?
say-
Pimento cheese sandwich
Yeah, I was
when you
gonna
sit
say,
down.
Patrons sounds like we're like this bougie state in basketball.
So the
here. It's just not like
Nemetary is
that.
what we're going with.
Yes.
Anything for TJ? Nothing?
Well, TJ's Throng, Toppin's Throng. I don't know.
Too much sounds too much like thong. I don't care
Yeah,
for that
Throng.
one.
Oh, gee,
and-
Mark, come on, man.
How
Grow
did
up.
you get there,
Might
Mike
as well call it
Jenkins?
like McConnell's whale tail. Like, what are we talking about?
So we can throw out a vote there for that.
McConnell's maniacs. How about that?
In all seriousness, I think you
Not
do need
bad.
to have something, right? You can't just have a stale 41-night environment
No,
without a
that's
little
terrific. I mean,
Turner's block.
what's been
Hally
so fun?
heroes.
What's been so fun about that environment? There's so many different factors that feed into it.
Pascal's
You've got-
posse. Thank you, Brian, for
You
that.
got the drum guys up there in the one corner. You'd had, Turner's block over there, and just fun. It's just a great environment to go watch a basketball game. That's not going to change.
And now again, that
You
is
can call it
called.
something different.
By the way, that's not any drum line. That's the high octane drum
That's
line.
what I'm saying. It's fantastic. Does Halliburton? I know he's not going to be playing next year, but when he comes back, does he get a section?
Well, I'm taking it 1 year at a time right here.
It's the Fan Morning Show at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. We were at a Colts camp yesterday, and we got the Pacers release almost simultaneously while we were out there yesterday. There are 9 games that are said to be televised nationally, although some are on Amazon, some are on the Peacock.
I'm laughing at this from a text
What do
line.
you
It
got?
says, "We call it Carlisle's Corner," and I was honestly thinking that just a bunch of people that sit there and hold up signs with like what Carlisle will respond to us when our questions are not good on the radio. Because I feel like you'd be able to fit a couple of words on there that he would tell us. I feel like what we just had a few days ago on Tuesday
gotta
was the
find it.
nicest Rick Carlisle ever. So maybe that would be kind of funny to me to just see what people would actually come up with potential Rick Carlisle responses.
That could be. You could put Carlisle's Corner in one area of the arena, and you can put the other one somewhere else. That'd be good.
That
I
made
like
me
it.
laugh.
Any other big schedule things you saw other, James, than the Milwaukee Bucks coming here fairly early on the 3rd of November as Miles Turner makes his return, since we're speaking about him?
Not necessarily. Like I said, that was one of the bigger games that I was curious about. But beyond that, you open the season against some teams that I think that are looking a lot different and could be very good. Oklahoma City is obviously we're familiar with them. Then you got 2 against Memphis, Minnesota. You got Dallas. You got Atlanta. Like Atlanta's made some changes as well. You got Golden State. So these first 10 and 12 games, man, these are not against teams that were sorry last year or missing the playoffs or don't have stars. Every single matchup, you're going to face a dude or multiple of them. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of shake out to start the season. And I'm sure I'm saying it nice and early. Don't freak out if it is not, the most amazing Pacers basketball to start off. I mean, we saw it last year. even with their star players, where they struggled a bit, then they kind of found their footing. So I would expect that to kind of be the case early on.
Now, we know Carlisle's corner will probably not have any.
No disrespect to rats.
How about the Carlisle Rat Pack?
Probably, yeah. Honestly,
How about that?
Might as well. Benedict Mather makes a visit
I
up
like
there.
that.
Yeah.
Every couple games. Yeah, James, I would agree. To me, like I kind of wanted that flipped. If you look at the end of the season, I think the end of the season is a little bit lighter. I was kind of hoping, a little bit more backloaded on that front. And again, I'm probably, when I speak to this, I'm probably catering a little bit more to like, hey, you might have the young kid who loves whatever, Luka, or loves, Wemby or whoever here. But it looks like on paper, you do benefit from the West Coast teams not doing the back-to-back thing here in Indiana. Steph Curry's lone visit, not on a back-to-back. LeBron and Luka's lone visit, not on a back-to-back. Wembanyama actually will be here twice. That is a preseason home game. And, of course, he's coming back from injury. So, will he play in that? October 13th is a preseason game. Cooper Flagg, Zach Edey. Some of these, again, West Coast teams, none of these are on a back-to-back. But Monday, November 3rd, folks, boy, you better have the Halloween energy hanging on for a little while there, because it's a Monday night for the Miles Turner return game.
You weren't initially thrilled with that when you saw that. You didn't like the Monday night, did you?
No, Monday just lacks a little bit of juice.
Is that too early in the season for you, too?
I don't mind the earliness to it. I just would have liked that a little Thursday, Friday, Saturday action there. Colts at Steelers the day before, so I don't know. Maybe you'll be having a little fan emotional hangover from the Colts at the Steelers, which I don't think they've won there in 100 years. So, yeah, that is one of the earliest games of the season, December 23rd, the second matchup with Miles Turner. So you'll get both those home games against the Bucks out of the way. Terry here, Toppin's Tomahawk Jam section. Boy, I don't know if you not have enough signage to get all the letters in.
It's a
for
lot
that
of
one.
lettering.
You take up the entire quadrant of the arena on that middle.
I like the
tier there.
Nemetary. Is that original by one of you two?
Here's a good one.
No,
though.
that was Twitter. So
Really?
shout out to the
Yeah.
Pacers Twitter for
Let's
putting me on that
go.
very early, because they were saying in the Eastern Conference Finals that Jalen Brunson was in the Nemetary.
Gosh, that is really good.
I know.
That's good. When he comes back, I like this one, Hallie's Alley. It's not
That's
bad.
good.
I like that
one.
Does James Johnson meet you there?
No, James Johnson is no longer on the team.
He's got
correct?
free time.
Yeah.
He's not on
You
the team.
tell him he's not on the team.
Oh, yeah, good point.
They're doing a height and weight check in the YouTube chat, and I just sent in mine, 6'3", 212. 6'3", 212, James, if you looked at that on an NFL roster, wouldn't you think I was like a legit wideout?
Yeah, that or like a free safety or something like that.
And then I walk in the room and you're like, damn, how underwhelming is that?
It's not underwhelming for me. I said, I'm like, wow.
It's like
What an athlete. He's
what
a
the-
dual sport athlete.
It's like what the tender pictures look like versus what happens in real life.
Pride of Cathedral.
out
You were
here-
talking about great athletes a minute ago. There's
6'3",
one right there.
212, here I am.
So you out here catfishing people, Kevin Bowen?
looking like Hunter Wooler, ready to just knock some heads, and then all of a sudden I walk in the room and you're like, oh damn, that kid looks like a
Well,
golfer.
until we get you on the golf course and you stripe 292.
I will say,
Come
I don't
on.
know about that.
I'm thinking of
I
like,
saw it. What are you talking about?
could you
don't know about
imagine
that.
putting on like actual pads and the players' reactions to it? I would get laughed out of the building. I talked to Anthony yesterday.
I can hear
actually.
Zaire Franklin cackling. By the way, I meant to ask you. All of a sudden, you and Anthony Richardson, that one-on-one was 10 minutes long.
Yeah, I had some questions.
Can you tease anything?
Yeah, what do we know?
Well, I'll say this. He was very candid about a few things that I don't think he was as candid about with a bunch of cameras in his face.
Ooh.
So stay on the lookout for that. Over the next week or so, I will have certainly the Anthony Richardson exclusive. That was a couple weeks in the making, but we made it happen.
Good deal. We do look forward
on
to
the
that.
field, off the field, any tease, any
anything?
I will say,
any morsel here?
I did ask him about the quotes that we got from the QB tiers about the Anthony Richardson experience being over and him not being an NFL caliber quarterback. And he had some words and thoughts on that, and also the QB competition. So, it's friendly competition, but heavy emphasis on competition because,
Good.
yeah, I think he has done and said the right things along with Daniel Jones, but he made it very clear, I'm not here to be QB2. So, excited to get that out there.
Good tease. Greg Rakestraw stood next to him for quite a while yesterday talking about Colts football and other things. He's always educational. He's going to stop by and drop some knowledge on us next as we continue at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Good morning.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Mark, was the Soccer Saturday a happy accident, or did you play that one just for our next guest.
That was a happy accident, but
all right.
Never a bad thing to get more Greg Rakestraw on the air.
Never a bad thing. And he joins us now on the Payless Liquors hotline. Good morning, Greg Rakestraw. You will be busy with American football tomorrow afternoon, will you?
I've got a day. I've got football and football tomorrow, so it'll keep me hopping.
I understand that you're going to have a very special guest in the booth for a conversation, her first one publicly, I suppose. Is that
Correct.
true?
Carly Gordon will be joining us in the third quarter. She obviously is continuing on her father's tradition in many ways, and one of those is appearing on the television broadcast in the preseason. So Rick Venturi and I get the honor of speaking to the one of the three new owners of the Colts, but obviously the one that oversees kind of the day-to-day business and the football operations side of things. So Carly will join us in the third quarter tomorrow.
I will miss our Westfield chats on the sidelines there. Greg Rakestraw, of course. You will hear him tomorrow. CBS 4, right, Rake? Don't we switch over?
Correct. So the first game was 59. I think the two Saturday matinees are both CBS 4.
2 sentences on what you want to see from Daniel Jones. How about 2 on what you want to see from Anthony Richardson?
Don't turn the ball over, since we saw a little bit of that from both guys yesterday. Don't get hurt. I think for both of those guys, for Anthony Richardson, just, again, make the right read, make the touch throws. For Daniel Jones, let's see some explosive plays. It seems like, even though there are things that those guys do from a mobility standpoint that's very similar, kind of what their strong suits are from a passing standpoint tend to be the opposites of each other. So I want to see more of the simple stuff from Anthony. I want to see more of the potential big plays from Daniel Jones.
Rake, when you look at the quarterback competition, do you envy Shane Steichen at all when he says he hasn't made a decision? Because honestly, I'm starting to think, is he being more honest than I thought before? Because most coaches say that because they want to hold off. But, what do you think will be the deciding factor in this QB competition?
I think how they play tomorrow is a big step of it, and I think, this could continue on to next week. Now, do these guys play next Saturday? I don't know. But I think this has been a legitimate competition all the time. And I think you have seen that in how they have shared reps in practice, how they have alternated. I'm not charted who's gotten more snaps with the ones. I'm sure somebody has. But this is one of those cases where I take Shane at his word. I think he is trying to see as much of the preseason as possible for making a determination. And frankly, I don't think these two guys have separated themselves from each other yet, which is why we have not seen or heard a decision at this point as to whom the starting quarterback is going to be.
Well, feel free, Rake, tomorrow to ask Carly Gordon who's the starting quarterback. You can, you can attribute that to me, if she wants to kick you out of the booth after that. But in all seriousness, how much do you look forward to that conversation with her? Because it's the first time since I believe, since their father's passing that they've kind of she's addressed the media in a public setting. So I guess how much do you appreciate that opportunity?
There was the one press conference within maybe a couple of weeks after of Jim's passing, and then this will be next. And so I think this is one of the great things that we do. I'm proud of the broadcast that we do every August. But to kind of have this moment to be more of a conduit to the fans, I think it's tremendous. And so, obviously when it was Jim before and now Carly going forward, this is something that, I think more owners should do other than Jerry Jones. He should probably speak less, but most of the rest of them should probably, do this on a more regular basis. And so I think it's wonderful that, the family decided to kind of continue this tradition.
Settle down just a little bit.
Oh, boy. Starting trouble already. Greg Rakestraw on the Payless Liquors hotline right now. You've been watching throughout camp, other than the obvious quarterback discussion. What are the things you're taking out of this?
One of the questions that I had going into yesterday was, is the Colts defensive line really getting pretty good at getting to the backfield, or is it more on the Colts offensive line? And I think we kind of saw a mixed bag of results of that yesterday. I thought early in the practice sessions that the Colts offensive line was doing a pretty solid job. Kind of as it went along, I think the performance of the entire Colts offense started to sag a little bit in terms of, balls being tipped, balls being, intercepted, fumble, whatever, in terms of pressure getting back to the quarterback. But that, Jeff, is kind of what is unique about this, about this spring, or this not spring, but preseason, is the fact of, other than the mega super huge obvious quarterback battle in terms of position battles, I'm not sure, other than ones caused by injury, there were that big of a position battle going into camp, and that's kind of played itself out. Now we've got shuffling at wide receiver because Alec Pierce has missed this week, and then Josh Downs gets injured yesterday. There is obviously what's kind of gone through the cornerback position in terms of Juju Brents, Jalen Jones, Justin Wally, Kenny Moore, et cetera. And all of a sudden, a guy named Jonathan Edwards is getting reps with the ones. There's going to be a little bit of discussion at the linebacker spot, but, we almost had Jalen Carlisle there as more of a placeholder than anything else. But now it's going to be Joe Bocci and Cam McGrone that are battling for the spot to sort of opposite next to Zaire Franklin. But again, I thought going into camp, this was two remarkably huge, important, and simple questions. Who's your quarterback, and are you going to be a playoff team? And everything else was details. And my opinion hasn't changed about that in the last 3.5 weeks.
He is Greg Rakestraw. You're going to hear him tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Pacers and Packers. I'm looking at the Pacers schedule. Colts and Packers. Rick Venturi going to be in the booth with him. Rake, I don't know. Maybe it's just you and I being nerds on the sidelines at Westfield, but I do have a question regarding the Live Golf up there in Westfield coming up starting today. And just in general, maybe like the future of pro golf in Indianapolis. Certainly we've seen one-offs at Crooked Stick, and, the Brickyard has hosted, Senior Tour and LPGA Tour events, and I'm kind of always curious what Roger Penske looks at that Brickyard course and kind of thinks about it moving forward there. Maybe it's another year at Chatham for Live. Maybe there's a big old project in Plainfield down the road. What do you think? Future pro golf in Indy, is it consistent? Is it one-off every 5 years? What do you like?
I think it's how this event does, and let's face it, we know that of all the things that we do well in this community, logistics for sporting events tends to be at the top of that list. And so I think it's more of a question of the future of Live Golf, and that clearly there's an unlimited supply of cash behind that. But if Live Golf has a solid future, and the event this weekend goes well, which I expect it to, I think they would come back here on a regular basis. And obviously, for those that kind of follow the sport, there is very much a scheduling formula for Live, and so they have 3 events that are scheduled opposite the FedEx playoffs, try to take a dent into that, and to kind of play 3 consecutive weeks, you need 3 events that are remotely close to each other. So you had a Chicago event, you got an Indianapolis event, you got a Michigan event, the team championship that is taking place next week to kind of wrap up the season. And so if you can take away, again, the funding source, the idea behind Live Golf, and just look at it from a golf perspective, and some folks can't, and I respect that. But the reason I bring that up is that if we have the typical, slow day sports talk conversation in Indianapolis, and we say, hey, if there's something from a sports standpoint you would like to see here in Indy that we don't have, for all the great things we have, what do we not have? You wouldn't get very far into the conversation without saying pro golf on a regular basis. Well, now here is an opportunity for that to be the case. So I think if Live Golf has solid footing, I think all of a sudden now having a yearly tour event in Indianapolis suddenly has solid footing for the first time in a long time.
What about the Brickyard Crossing golf course? And maybe it's the Bristol in me that's fresh in my mind after Reds and Braves a few weeks ago, but like you got 4 golf holes in the middle of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And yet from a other event standpoint, we've seen it in the past, but lately nothing really of significant note here. Do you think there's anything that Roger Penske wants that golf course to turn into?
Kevin, who just spent money to buy into the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the IndyCar Series, and IMS Productions?
Well, it's Fox, and I bring that up because doesn't Fox air some Live events?
And Kevin, where is the home of Live Golf in the United States, and what is the one television broadcaster that the velvety tones of Arlo White mentions on their broadcast?
Yeah. No, I got you.
You get the idea. It's frankly why I said after the Speedway Classic, which obviously was panned for a lot of reasons, my thought was, listen, if that's going to happen again, where do you think that's going to happen? Here. And so that is what makes now that partnership so tremendous for the Speedway. Now, any of the television partners that Fox has, and even from a non-sports standpoint, guess now where a lot of partnership, sponsorship activations, events, just general cool things might happen. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And so if you're saying, is there a possibility, and that's nothing against almost said Chatham Tap out of force of muscle memory, Chatham Hills, but could there be a live golf event at the Brickyard Crossing? Certainly there could be. In terms of what Roger wants to see that course turn into, there has been a very concerted effort to make that club a little more exclusive and frankly raise the cost a little bit to make it one of Indy's more exclusive places to have a golf event or to play golf, frankly. And so I could see potentially live golf being held because, again, of the television partnership, of the simply stunningly cool location and visuals that could be at the Brickyard Crossing at some point down the road.
Last one, Rick, and we'll get you out of here. But I can't get you on the radio and not ask about high school football. A week from today is the season opener. So where will you be, and what games or matchups should we pay attention to?
Lawrence Central, Lawrence North is my game next week. It's the second year in a row the Battle of Lawrence Township has been the season opening game. Obviously, LN has some pretty high expectations after being undefeated going to the regional round and being beaten in a comeback effort by eventual state champs Brownsburg last year. A couple other games that should get your attention. Center Grove and Warren are back on the schedule, and they play in week number 1. And so Carmel and Fishers play each other at Fishers next week as well. There are a lot of great matchups in week 1, and I'm looking forward to being back on the high school football side of things as of next Friday night.
I'll be stalking you. You do know this. I see you when I see you and Kyle Nettenrep, I know I'm at the right game.
That's the rule of thumb. If Kyle and I are in the same place, then you're in the right place.
There you go.
Hey, last one for me too, Greg. We had you out at the State Fair. Thank you for doing that the other day, filling in for Jake. What was your favorite food fair at the State Fair this year?
Very Joey Tribbiani, deep fried stuff with cheese. Insert whatever that deep fried stuff was. I was on more of a time constraint, and so it was going to be the closest booth next to the grandstand. So I went with one of my fair staples dating back to the Lanesville Heritage Weekend days as a kid. I went the Euro combo is the way that I went on Wednesday.
I like it.
And knowing I was going to be sitting in a grandstand talking for 3 hours, the largest Coke I could possibly get. That was also the beverage choice that I had.
All right, it's good to know. You and Mark, you're the go-to opinions on food, on fair food. So.
I just want a Chatham Tap beer with you.
Right.
Ever since you said that, Rake, now I'm just picturing us over on Butler having a beer at the Chatham Tap.
You've moved on from Mark's Powerade?
I think they open at 11 a.m. I may be heading that way at about 11 a.m. then.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.
You've moved on from the Mark's Powerade. You're on to Chatham Tap now?
Well, I can dabble. I'm not a big beer drinker at 8 or 9 a.m. in the morning. I can't recall the last time I've done that.
Yeah.
Oh, I can.
Oh, I can.
Golf outing.
I can.
Golf outings.
You forget already?
Card
Yes.
day. You name it.
Got heat stroke?
I don't know. The only thing I remember is my boss just seemingly trying to handcuff me from
That's
opening up
not
that beer.
true. I just wanted to make sure you were good to go for the rest of the show. That's all.
I don't know.
Although maybe next
Felt like
year,
I was
card day, the 9
walking out
o'clock
of the
hour
house
might be
to
better.
prom, and my mom and dad were chatting
Yep.
with me about some key reminders.
Yep.
You're not the one that has to answer to HR like, what were you guys doing on the morning show this morning?
Yeah, I've been fired before. I
Nobody's
can be
firing
fired.
No,
anybody.
I want you to stick around.
Nobody's firing anybody. Interesting stuff, though. He's got the same questions that everybody else out of Grand Park had that we've got this morning. Like, who is the quarterback actually going to be on week 1? And I don't know that we have an answer. And you hear Greg and everybody else saying, no, this has been a legit competition, but neither one of them has taken it by the throat.
James-
So do you think if I just knock on the door when Carly Arce-Gordon's in there with Venturi and Greg Rakestraw that I could just peek my head in and be like, excuse me, by the way, sorry to interrupt. Carly, who do you think should be starting at
Be good
quarterback?
TV.
Because Shane Steichen did say yesterday that it is ultimately his decision, but he will go over it with Chris Ballard and Carly.
James, I thought the Anthony Richardson answer yesterday when asked, I think it was Dominic Miranda from WTHR does a great
Who
job.
I love, by the way.
Yeah, great dude. Shout out to Greencastle and DePaul. He asked, what do you want to see from yourself, Anthony, in the preseason game? And his answer was the exact same answer Chris Ballard had at the end of last season. What do
Play.
you need to see from Anthony
Be available.
in year 3? And it is the word of the greatest ability is what?
Availability.
And for Anthony to say that, I think you maybe followed up after that. Like, boy, I wonder how much that weighs on him. Like, I mean, it seems like that is consciously a thought of his. And I'm curious, how do we see that, if at all, when the red jersey comes off in games? Especially because, again, we obviously saw him last Thursday play, leave due to injury. Now, tomorrow, we'll see him for a quarter and a half game. Daniel Jones is going to start tomorrow, play a couple series. Then it'll be Anthony Richardson for the final quarter and a half. That's the plan. Do we see, like, I guess I don't even know what I'm looking for. Like, do we see him not run as much? Do we see him not take on as many hits? Do we see him try to get rid of the ball quicker? I don't know. I thought it was the first time James Richardson himself has gone there in a very blunt manner of just like, no, I'm not going to say avoid turnovers. I'm not going to say be great with my mental assignments pre-snap. I'm not going to say, have a highly efficient day or lead a couple touchdown drives. No. I'm going to say I need to stay healthy. And again, he's not wrong. Let me be clear. But just what does that look like when he's out there for a quarter and a half?
Well, I think it is on his mind because otherwise, why in a preseason game when your pinky is pointing the wrong direction, you're begging to go back in? So he knows that he wants to stay available. But James, I'll let you answer the broader question. What does it look like from maybe within his noggin and what he wants to get accomplished?
I'm not sure, obviously, because I'm not in his head, but I would imagine it, like Kevin said, it weighs on you. So
Does it alter the way you play then?
I know. That's what
that's what I always think.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
You're
It's
playing
like,
scared or you're playing cautiously because you're in your own head. They always say, like, the best quarterbacks are the guys that don't think.
because
You
I
just go out there and
largely
play.
think he's walked
Good
a
point, Mark.
fine line, Anthony Richardson. I largely think he's walked a fine line in using his legs. Like, to me, like Josh Allen borderlines on recklessness with how many hits he takes. It's unbelievable Josh Allen has stayed
Well, I
as healthy
told you
as
my
he's
hot
had.
take that I truly believe that being injury prone or not is like a God-given ability.
Right.
And
And
there's
like,
no rhyme or reason behind it.
Will
because he
Levis-
should get hurt like all the time.
Will Levis, he looks like a 20-year-old in the tailgate fields in Bloomington on a Saturday afternoon with him running around with his head cut off. So, but like
What a
Richardson,
Kevin,
That's
let's
that's
pause
firsthand
for a moment.
experience.
I was going to say, was this firsthand
That's
experience?
firsthand
down there in
experience. You've
Bloomington?
seen that.
no. I
You've
was at
seen that.
Herman Wells Library on a Saturday afternoon.
Oh, nice. That's me being at Bible study on a Friday night in college.
That's where it started when the first beer was cracked.
Do we see anything different from him? I largely think, to Greg Rakestraw's point, when you get into the nitty-gritty of the game, yes, you want to see Daniel Jones attempt some stuff down the field, be successful in that realm. With Anthony Richardson, obviously you want to see methodical passing game and consistency there. And, if you overanalyze his reps against Baltimore, he had a near pick, kind of avoiding some of that stuff. But just does he look different at all as a thrower or as a protector of his body, for lack of a better phrase?
We'll talk more about it as the morning rolls along. We'll have Matt Taylor coming your way at the top of the hour. Mate is going to be on here, so we're looking forward to that. In the meantime, let's check it down, Mark.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Well, they were out at Colts camp last day at Grand Park yesterday. Joint practices with the Green Bay Packers. We've been talking about it all morning long. James Boyd, I think the consensus is the offense struggled except for maybe the very, very end of practice.
Yeah, it was rough. It was a very poor day, and honestly, if it wasn't for that last 2-minute drive, particularly with the starters and Anthony Richardson going down the field and scoring, if it wasn't for that, there would have been no highlights at all among that offensive showing.
Kevin Bowen, defensively, not so bad, right?
Yeah, I thought Latu in particular, nice start, nice finish. And I point him out because Green Bay, I believe, had their entire offensive line intact. So I think that was kind of a good-on-good moment, and Latu had a really nice day. But yes, Malik Willis and that banged-up Green Bay wide receiver core, they did nothing at all. The final 2-minute drill I don't even think they got a yard, if I remember correctly. 4 plays and only negative yards because Latu had a sack on second down. I think it went incompletion, sack, drop, and then overthrow by Willis. So, yeah, the Colts banged up DB crew, corner, safety, did a really nice job there. So, yes, that is definitely the positive. Injury note, Josh Downs left early hamstring. Samson Ebukam left early back. The Downs one certainly is one to keep an eye on as the regular season is 3 weeks from Sunday.
I have a quick question. So, when you end playing basketball, they say you can't leave on a miss. Got to leave on a make.
Yeah.
But when practice ends with, you throwing a pick, does Daniel Jones, is there an unwritten rule? I need to ask the players this. Do you go out there and throw a route on air to somebody? Okay, go get underneath that. So I can't leave, right? That can't be the last play on the field.
He's asking Blue to run a comeback route before he starts.
It's got to be something. I can't end my practice like that. I feel like that's such a deflating thing to be Imagine being the play that ends practice and it's the worst play.
Now, when practice ended yesterday, some of the live golfers made their way onto the field, and I saw Bubba Watson's son wanted a picture with Christian Watson. He couldn't believe that there was another Watson professional athlete that actually has the name on the back of his jersey.
And Liv gets going later on today.
Live today.
Yeah, and then Kevin wanted to find Bryson DeChambeau, but
noon.
He wasn't around there.
Shotgun.
He was very disappointed.
Did you boo when they came out on the field? Like, boo, get out
Bryson
of here.
and I, a little West Fork whiskey action there.
A pox on your whole
I'm
family.
starting to get worried. That's like 6 alcohol references by you in the last 15 minutes.
A little murmur of some of the live golfers. They view Chatham as the easiest course they've seen so far, so I'll be curious to see how low the scores are there. Hope the turf has held up in the heat that we have gotten here. But yes, noon shotgun today, and I think it gets 1 hour earlier, I believe, the next 3 days. So 11 a.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. on Sunday. And Jason Derulo. Mark Dykton, can we get some Derulo?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Is that Saturday, Derulo?
I think so.
Riley Green is today from a concert standpoint. I don't know. I don't know Riley Green, but I do know Jason Derulo.
There you go. You got him on your
I know
Spotify.
little Riley Green.
Yeah.
You do know Riley Green?
I thought you said yesterday you only know CeeLo.
Well, I know him based off of, I look at the face right now, just Google Riley Green. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard some of his songs.
Right.
I feel like we're getting a little bit, Pacer schedule came out.
Yes.
Some people have asked Prime and Peacock games, 8 of them for the Pacers. Will those be also on FanDuel, which would be Kristen Area, of course, Quinn Buckner and Jeremiah Johnson? From someone in the know, they believe that they are exclusive to Prime and Peacock, but not final word on that. ESPN, which was just one game on ESPN for the Pacers, that is allowed to be aired on FanDuel, which I think we see at times during the regular season here. So they should be able to go side by side on opening night. Pacers Thunder is the ESPN game.
Mm-hmm.
You will have your FanDuel broadcast, I believe, but it sounds like that is still to be finalized on the Peacock and Prime. Because if not, boy, that's 8 games. I mean, that's a good chunk, 8 of 81.
Yeah,
that would not be aired on FanDuel.
James, you were wondering, Milwaukee gets here the 3rd of November, a Monday night, the Miles Turner return.
I'll be there, either as a member of the media or someone in the stands, but I will be in the building for sure.
I think that's Maddie's due date, so I probably will not be there.
All right.
Oh, don't worry. I'll FaceTime
Make it interesting, Kevin. Come on.
I'm gonna I'll, when I see Miles, I'll be like, my boy Kevin Bowen really wanted to be here, so say what's up to us.
Bring the
new
go
kid.
bag, and then if you have to go, you go.
I would
really
judge you
hope
so hard for
Ashley's
that.
listening right now.
As
just
father
so
3,
she
I'm just
could
passing some knowledge to you.
She's probably thinking you're not the one having the baby.
That's true.
If you want to go see some
Someone-
basketball
am I
at the
imagining
Fieldhouse
things?
tonight.
Didn't someone have a baby at Lucas Oil a couple years ago?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Am I
Lord have
imagining that?
mercy.
No.
If that happened,
I'll do a
I'm
quick
judging
Google
hard.
search.
I think you had a fever dream
I
there.
thought one of the medics on staff. I could be wrong on that.
Well, somebody will
I'm on my-
know.
I've drank the second cup of coffee too early today.
It's the coffee?
I apologize.
No, you are correct. During a Colts game against the Browns at Lucas Oil, a baby was born. The mother went into labor during the game and was assisted by stadium medics.
Do we have a name?
I would be
Kamari.
judging so hard. I would be judging so hard.
So that was that our PJ Walker game. Colts,
Related
Browns?
to Browns receiver David Bell.
That's right. I do remember this story. Warren Central, David Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Look at you, Kevin.
Oh,
Thank
my
you.
goodness.
And the dark corners of your mind come through
Yeah.
again.
Man.
Like it.
JR over here was laughing at me, thinking I was wrong.
Yeah, respect.
I thought maybe you had a fever dream, but no.
I was laughing
you were
too.
on
I
there
ain't
too.
gonna lie.
All
That's
right.
a Taylor Swift
Tonight at the Fieldhouse.
lyric, right? Fever dream?
Yes, the actual Fever will be in action against the Washington Mystics. It'll be the 12th game they'll play without Caitlin Clark And that one starts at 7:30. John Nolan has the play-by-play. The pregame with Eddie Garrison starts at 7:15 right here on 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Kevin, you'll be interested in knowing that the Mets lost again yesterday, and the Reds are edging closer
Half game back
to a wild card spot. The Cubs falling further behind Milwaukee. They lose to the Toronto Blue Jays by a score of 2-1, but the Brewers will be playing the Reds. And you're going to be a Reds fan this weekend, right, Mark?
I mean, unless they crap the bed against the Brewers. I've given up the division.
What do you mean?
I think.
Either you're a fan or you're not a fan.
Well, then I'm not a fan. I've never have been. I never will be then.
Well, you
But
were
it's not
at
what you said an hour
7:30,
ago.
so now you're not?
Well, I'm saying if they can get it done. If they don't, if they just let Milwaukee keep raking, then they'll be dead to me.
So you're a fair weather fan.
Yeah, when it comes to the Reds, I don't care for them otherwise.
This from Jet Boat Driver. I had a baby during that Browns game, too. Still pissed about that.
It
If I'm
looks
not
like-
mistaken, there were a few questionable flags that went against the Colts late in that game. Was that when Myles Garrett jumped over the line and blocked a field goal?
I think it ended up looking like a pretzel, his baby. So that's what happened in that game. Remember we were talking about the pretzels yesterday at Lucas Oil? James, you look completely confused.
I am.
So,
I'm very confused.
all right. I'll explain in a minute here. Mark knows what I'm talking about.
I don't. I'm confused too.
Can I get my nerdy golf
Never mind.
update for a
yes,
second?
please.
Straight hour. Shout out to the legend Jacob Modleski, the pride of Garin, the pride of Pebblebrook. He is in the final 8, the pride of Notre Dame. He is in the final 8 at the U.S. Amateur. If he wins 2 matches, one today, one tomorrow, he will be in the Masters in 2026. We have to get him on the radio for that. If he wins all 3, wins the U.S. Amateur, he's paired with Rory McIlroy at the 2026
That's a big
Masters.
deal, man. That's a really big
Pebblebrook
deal.
Golf Course, shout out. 36 holes up there.
He gets on the radio. The rest of us just need to leave the studio and let Kevin have it to himself for like 10 minutes.
Son of an Air Force pilot. Greatest athlete in Garin history. Not sure what that says necessarily. Garin's pretty young high school, but nonetheless, unbelievable. Watched it last night, defeating Paul Chang from Virginia.
It was on Golf Channel? Where
Oh,
was
yeah.
it on?
2 hours on the Golf Channel. Got home from Colts practice, and I was never been happier to watch that.
All right. Coming up in a moment, we'll talk more about the Pacers schedule release and maybe take some updates on names for Turner's Block. They're going to have to change that this year. We'll do it next at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Let's go.
Yeah. You ask, you get.
Let's go, Mark Dykton. Derulo.
Is this the opener?
Will this get you to the Live tournament?
This is the encore. I can see the fog machine right now.
Yeah.
Will this get you to
Just
Live
passing
tournament?
things around that probably shouldn't be passed around.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
All this from Jason Derulo? Man,
Yeah.
what an artist.
I always love the early siren that you would hear in these songs, like when we were in college.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
That
Great
still won't
time.
get you there, though, will it?
I'm there in spirit.
Yeah.
I am there in spirit. Jason Derulo, a live concert tomorrow up there in Westfield. Westfield School's closed today, right?
I did
Why?
not know that. What's going on?
Right, you just
Where'd that
started.
come?
What do you mean? You got to bust the fans in.
I'm going to be a boomer for the first time in my life.
Get back to school.
Go back to school. Old man yells at the cloud.
You
Back
got-
in my day.
You got to bust the fans in to the complex up there. James Boyd, you're up there a lot. It's not like there's a ton of.
You
So,
mean
James,
to tell
know
me
where the
all those
Mon-
roundabouts couldn't get you to school on time?
You know where the Monon is up there?
Yeah.
You cross
Yeah.
over the Mona,
Yeah.
191st. I mean, that street before it, I think it's Tomlinson. Boom. You turn right on that, mile down the road, and that's where Live Golf is.
Oh, nice.
It's
Yeah.
right there.
Been through there many times. It's the Fan Morning Show, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. A lot going on. You had Colts camp up at Grand Park through yesterday. And, of course, you talked about Live Golf showing up today. We've got preseason for the Colts tomorrow. And the schedule release for the Indiana Pacers is out. There will be 9 games they say are nationally televised, but you need subscriptions to Amazon or Peacock to watch a lot of them, James Boyd.
Yeah, not, obviously the best for sometimes watching all those games, but hey, it is what it is, and we will keep you updated, and hopefully, if you don't listen in or watch in, you can all listen to it here on our show.
And Milwaukee returns the 3rd of November. Your chance. I know you want to see Miles Turner coming back.
Yeah, I got to see that. And they'll have another game against Milwaukee here on December 23rd. Nice little Christmas gift for the petty people in your lives, if you want to go check that game out as well. So I am very excited about the season. And like I said, it starts off, in my opinion, pretty top-heavy. You got Oklahoma City. You got Memphis with Ja Morant, a healthy Ja Morant. You got Minnesota, who obviously is very good every year. Dallas, with Cooper Flagg and company coming, actually going there. So it's going to be a lot. But also, then the one time that Steph Curry comes to Gamebridge will be on November 1st. And so that's
Early.
a Saturday
Yeah.
night. And so if you, again, that is a must-see TV game because you don't know how many times you're going to see a guy like that.
Yeah, and the typical holiday games that we're used to with the Pacers are indeed happening at home. And by that, I mean the Friday night Thanksgiving game, you're going to get that at home. I think that's one of those Commissioner's Cup games. So the tree lighting, and a lot of people like to make that into a big weekend. So you'll get that, and it seems like almost every year they play the New Year's Eve afternoon game as well.
That is true.
So,
That does seem like it's every
I
year.
believe it's 3 o'clock, the tip time this year, against a team that I think a lot of people are high on in the Orlando Magic. And, of course, Desmond Bain, now a member of the Magic there. So, New Year's Eve, you'll get that on a Wednesday. So does that mean no JMV on a Wednesday?
That's what it's going to mean. You'll probably be over there at the Fieldhouse.
Shout out to Seton
rocking
Catholic, by
with
the way.
whatever turns from Turner's Block into whatever we decide to go with over there, or whatever the group decides to go with over there.
We'll
But we've
see.
gotten a lot
So
of
the Pacers have
suggestions
informed
today.
the fans no fan section this year?
They have?
I guess I was sent some email about it.
I did not see that email.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just need the John Cena heel turn. November 3rd. Let's do it, Mark.
The smile, see it disappear, a frown, and then kick right in the beans.
Yep. And we need John Halliburton
To do
orchestrating
it.
all of it.
As we look
Yeah.
ahead to next season, we want to share an important update with the group. Unfortunately, the Fan Zone will not be returning for future Pacers games. Even though the Fan Zone is coming to a close, we hope you'll continue to bring that same incredible energy to every game. So did they not call it the Turner's Block? The Fan Zone has been a special place,
Well,
powered by
I mean-
fans like you who brought unmatched spirit and dedication.
Turner's block was dead as soon as he left.
That's a great PR release.
Yeah. Got to save face a little bit.
Hopefully High Octane will still be
Oh, yeah, definitely.
going there.
Just like last year, too, a bunch of Cleveland games down the stretch. They see one at Cleveland on the 4th. Remember last year, they ended up playing Cleveland a couple of times right at the very end of the season and turned right around and play them in the playoffs, too.
It's like the Fever playing the Dallas Wings every other day.
That was when Kevin was sweating out his 50-win bet.
You got it,
Have
though.
you placed that bet
You
yet?
got it.
That was a look in the mirror moment.
Have
When
you
that
pla-
game ended, I looked in the mirror and just wiped the sweat off my brow and said, never again.
Have you
And
placed that
What?
over
You
bet
should have been
yet?
in the mirror like, I'm him.
And now here
This
I
is
am.
what I do. This is greatness.
Ready.
You should have.
you were
should have
never worried.
You should have kissed
you were
yourself.
never
Never worried.
worried.
Did you watch that game? They were getting smoked. I'm living and dying with, Ray J. Dennis's ball handling and Johnny Furphy getting put back buckets. Rick Carlisle, did he not bring up the over-under with us on Wednesday?
You did.
39.5, is that correct,
Mhm.
Mark
He's taking
Dykton?
that
mean-
personally, don't you?
Kevin, I mean, that might be one of your easiest over bets that you can ever have.
Well, I mean,
They're not going to win
There's-
under 39.
There's no way they're winning less than 40 games.
well, guys, again, I have not just lived and died with the over-under. I've gone above and beyond. When the
This
over-under's
is
been 42.5, I've said 50. So we don't just live in the over-under
So you're going
world.
45 this year?
So 45 wins would be $10 to win $32.
Mm.
So $100 to win $320.
You going 100?
You need diapers.
You said you're going big. You going 100?
Do you like 45 wins?
I do. I like, right in that area. Yeah.
Oof,
I think it's
I don't know. 45 might be a lot. All right, that might be tough.
Area 55. Yes, thank you, Luke. Yeah, from the Roy Hibbert days there. So, yeah. Huff's Hurd. You don't like the J. Huff
He's
Hurd?
got to earn it.
I like the Nemetery. You guys are all in on that. That was great.
I want to. Not only do I like it, I want a T-shirt with that,
That would be a nice T-shirt.
I did like
with like gravestones of
Alley
other
too.
players,
I
like
think-
Jalen Brunson, and I want all that.
I think Nemhard would like that too. Matherin's Mafia.
Not bad.
I don't know.
Matherin's money. That's what he's worried about.
Is Matherin going to be a Pacer come February 20th?
Oh, you're starting off with the stress
Here we
early.
go
Tongue,
already.
sir.
Here we go already.
Is it not a question that deserves to be asked?
You're the president of the fan club. You cannot ask that question.
It's August 15th.
Rick was throwing out a lot on Wednesday, and I didn't have on the bingo card him throwing out me as the president of the Matherin fan club.
Motion to expel President Bowen from the Matherin Council.
Yeah, the board will
Never made
the
it to
board will see
office.
you now.
Rick's on the board, and honestly, I think he has the most votes of anybody on the board.
It's Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, Jeff Rickard, Mark Dykton. Producer of the Year over there, somebody named you. How about that?
I mean, I'm getting offered that praise. I'm getting offered raises and PTO increases. I'll take it all this
Were
week.
you still going to auction off your blue Powerade between James
I mean,
and Kevin here?
It's unopened. It's still sitting there. It's a little less frosty than it was
I am
before, but it's
in the
still there.
leaderboard right now as far as the suck-ups go, so I'm just letting you know.
James, we saw Josh Downs exit yesterday, hamstring injury. We saw Josh Downs exit last year in training camp with an ankle injury. He ended up missing the first 2 games. The Colts really patchworked his absence. This year, on paper, Anthony Gould would seem to be a guy that would just kind of slide into that role, more so than A.D. Mitchell. Part of why I disagreed with Jeff's A.D. Mitchell 80 catches, because I don't look at A.D. Mitchell as a slot.
Right,
Like-
he's capable of it, but I wouldn't probably go there
Like Anthony
first.
Gould is more of the traditional slot.
Yes.
If Josh Downs is to miss time, do you feel better in 2025 than you did in 2024 about how you would go about replacing that?
No, because if I'm judging off of the preseason opener, Anthony Gould looked a little shaky under the lights. 2 drops, dropped the kickoff. I think he has to bounce back this week for me to feel a little bit more confident in him taking a step forward. You would like to think he can do that. I think he's a second-year player, right? So
Yes,
you know,
fifth-round pick 2 years ago.
I'll have to give him some grace in that regard. So we'll see. But it is certainly a question to ask or throw out there, Kevin, because with this hamstring injury, we don't know if Josh Downs will be available by week 1.
And where are we at on Alec Pierce right now, too?
Well, just to kind of give a blanket statement, not only for you, Jeff, for the listeners, there are no updates on timelines for any of these guys. And every time we ask Shane Steichen, he just says they're progressing, and there's nothing else to really say. So, I would like to know more, but we don't know more.
I did saw Carly's wearing a walking boot again yesterday, which he's been for a while now.
Oh, Carlisle. Yes. Jalen Carlisle. Yeah, that was, I believe, that might be new. I believe the right ankle was in a boot, and he's another one that can't really be evaluated because he can't stay healthy. I know it was the fibula and the shoulder last year. Then he was still recovering from the shoulder this spring, and now it's the ankle. So, talk about a guy who was supposed to be penciled in as a projected starter. That is not the case at
Yeah.
all. Now, I would be shocked if he started. the
You could
season.
make the case no one lost more in training camp than him.
Yeah, good point.
Like, considering he was, yes, I would think internally they were writing his name in pen on the depth chart on July 27th, and now here we are. I think he was losing some grip on that starting job before the ankle injury, and now he's missed a week plus. And like you guys said, he's in a boot, so that return is. So we're starting to get to this. A week from Tuesday is roster cuts, and it's just one big one, 90 to 53. And I know some of this stuff's a little nerdy, but you're starting to get into which injured guys are you keeping
yeah.
on the roster? And the list right now of guys that have missed time or could miss more time: Josh Downs, Alec Pierce. Then defensively, Jalen Carlisle, Kenny Moore. Kenny Moore tells John yesterday, although he played the HIPAA game a little bit there, I should be back soon, something along those lines. Then you get in the corners, Jalen Jones, Juju Brents. So Nick Cross has missed a week plus. Quiddy Pay's in about a week area. So you need some clarity on some of these guys in the next 7-ish days, or else roster cuts will get very complicated.
It's going to be fascinating to watch. And, of course, all eyes are going to be on quarterback play against the Packers. And there's just no way of getting around it right now. If you believe this is an open quarterback, I don't think you have a clear-cut winner. I've always felt, like myself personally, that Anthony Richardson has to do something to lose it. Daniel Jones really needs to go above and beyond to win it. But right now, they're neck and neck, are they not?
Yeah, we could certainly get into it on the other side of the break, but it is not a clear-cut decision at all.
All right, we'll take that break and tell you about it more as we continue at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good morning and welcome to the show. Mark, as always, you will post the playlist from today's show on your
good
Twitter
one.
account. A
Mark,
little bit later on
this
today.
Guilty pleasure song. I love Michelle Branch.
This is a little banger Friday here.
Yeah, Michelle Branch gets it done. Saw her a few years ago as an opener. She's outstanding.
Everywhere.
Well, that's her big one.
Love me some Michelle Branch.
All You Wanted. Yeah, she had a streak there. It was like Usher related. It was like a hit after hit. It was like, good Lord, she can't miss right now.
God, Live Golf needs a higher mark to set up these concerts.
I'm telling you, that's why the Colts look so bad in practice. I didn't give that motivational speech yesterday. You'd have gotten a lot better
You
efforts.
should have been there.
You know what? You must have gave it to the defense because the Packers' offense looked terrible, which I'm sure you
We kind of expected
delighted
that,
in.
though, right?
James, was I the only
I
one?
don't know if I expected it because Malik Willis last year looked great in that Week 2 win. So got a little get back there.
Was I the only one when the Packers fans, which there were a good amount of them, when they started that "Go Pack Go" chant at the start of practice, I literally felt like Mark was going to rise from the cornfields of Westfield, and all of a sudden,
You stop that!
yeah,
I would have been.
You watch your mouth.
I would have been like just running suicides. I've been throwing up on the field. That would have made me barf.
I will say though, there were a lot of Packers fans.
They got
And,
nothing to do.
Yeah, Joel A. Erickson, who is a Wisconsin native, by the way, he gave me that warning, and I was like, "Oh, I'll get to practice his usual time," which I'm usually like 10 or 15 minutes early for Colts practice, which is not the case for the morning show. I'm usually 2 minutes early for the morning show. But when I pulled up, they were like, "Yeah, you got to park way over here and like park your car on the grass and walk way back over here." I was like, "Wow, these people really travel well."
Yeah.
But to your point, I do think that's true. When I went to Green Bay last year, first time there, it was obviously a very cool experience to go to Lambeau Field and all that stuff. But it's like going back to 1992.
Yeah. Like, what's with all these John Deere tractors in the
Seriously,
parking lot?
there's nothing there. And everywhere you go, whether it's the mall or a restaurant or something, it's like green and yellow. So if you don't like football or the Green Bay Packers and you live in Green Bay, what do you do?
All-time record was set with overalls and like steel boot jeans.
Hunting gear.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
big, too. It's the unofficial third quarter color of the Packers.
And they're probably going to go to the game tomorrow, and then they're going to just head over to Cincinnati to watch their Brewers play too. Probably do a little road trip.
I think an outright positive from yesterday was how the Colts ended practice. And for those that have never
That's true.
really been to practices in general, particularly the joint sessions, James, it's almost like they've turned the end of practice into the marquee event. 2-minute drill, 90 guys on each sideline. You know, for the most part, practices are on split fields at these joint sessions. You let Malik Willis in the starting offense on one field, Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones on the other, and you practice simultaneously. But at the end, they put the two teams, again, on opposite sidelines. The starting units get a go against each other. So first team offense, first team defense, then the twos go against each other. So there's 4 separate sessions that take place. And the 2-minute drill yesterday was 1:12 on the clock. I believe you had 1 timeout and you had to drive the length of the field. Anthony Richardson in the starting offense was about as flawless as you could be. Completions to Anthony Gould, Michael Pittman Jr., and then Tyler Warren down the seam.
Which was a nasty grab.
Nasty
How special is that dude?
catch by number
Oof,
84. A.D. Mitchell then draws a defensive pass interference penalty. Boom, you're on the doorstep of the goal line. Richardson.
He got shaky from there, I will say.
Yeah, first and second down, a couple ugly plays.
He had an overthrow to A.D. Mitchell that was kind of weird. I thought he should have ran it in.
Right.
And he
I couldn't
just
tell
had
if
to
he was
throw
throwing
it
it away or
and
what.
it was just it was a bad throw. And
Right.
then the play right after that, which would have made it probably, I don't know, second down and goal or whatever it was. And he threw one super high across the middle of Anthony Gould that was not even close. And then I was thinking, man, this is when in a real game, you're probably going run. But because of the clock situation, they probably didn't want to run.
Well, they did run it.
They finally had to just
With Taylor.
Yeah, they said
right
go
up
for
the
it.
middle. He got in, and then the 2-point conversion, I thought Richardson made a
That
very vintage Richardson play,
That was a good
extending
play.
it, and then found Pittman. So, again, in a marquee, higher intensity moment, after I thought Richardson had one of his worst periods I've ever seen. He was 0 for 5 in one period with just horrific accuracy. Was picked off as well, trying to find Anthony Gould. Just absolutely awful from him. He bounced back in a big way. Then Malik Willis in the Green Bay starting offense comes on the field, and they go incompletion with great coverage by Chavarius Ward, Latu sack, drop, it's 4th and 1,000,000, overthrow. So, again, in the biggest, I say that in quotes, moment of the joint practice, your starting offense goes down the field, touchdown, your starting defense gets a 4 and out. Daniel Jones did throw a pick when he got out there, but for your starters, good end of practice.
So I'm going to reference the video you put out after the end of the practice yesterday, Kevin, where you said the 2-minute drive was great, but it kind of felt like they were already behind 30-13 at the end of a game when they did that. So my question for both of you guys moving forward is, can you look at yesterday in any sense as the glass half full by the way things ended, or is it just more of the same old inconsistencies that we can't put things together and stack them again and again and again?
Can I flip it on you first? You were there as well, so I do want to hear your thoughts on this, Jeff, and maybe that'll sway me one way or the other.
Well, you heard me at the very well, you guys were here. Maybe not everybody heard at the beginning of the show. I just get frustrated at the fact that if you're this far into camp and you have an open, legitimate quarterback competition, it'd be one thing if guys were just slicing and dicing day in and day out and you didn't have a clear winner. We don't have a clear winner, and it's mostly because nobody has been stacking days, day after day after day. So to me, it's the old adage of if you've got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any right now.
Right. So to piggyback off of that statement and to answer your question, I don't view it as a glass half full after yesterday, at least in that particular performance. I will go back to last week's joint practice in Baltimore, or Owings Mills, whatever the technical location is for that camp. I thought that was much better. So in my opinion, to Kevin's point from earlier in the show, you're probably looking at a 1-2 record right now as far as what's good and what hasn't been good throughout your 3 big, joint practice / games. You had a good showing in Baltimore for the joint practice, bad game, and then I think it was bad yesterday too. So I can't look at it as half full just because of how lopsided it was. And in particular, yesterday, it was, 90% of that practice was just the Green Bay defense kicking the, Colts' you-know-what.
Yeah, I was walking off the field, Joel Erickson, he's like, that was lipstick on a pig, was kind of how he described that final drive there.
Which I feel like that term is so disrespectful to pigs. So you know how good bacon is?
I saw so many at the
Had
state
last
fair
night?
the other day. I'm like,
man,
they look delicious.
Yeah, I'm like,
That's a
y'all-
fair point. It's one of the brighter points that you've made here, James. That is a very fair
I don't
point.
have many great thoughts, but that's one of them.
And one thing I think as well, honestly, I would say where Anthony Richardson has been at his best is in those situations.
Which honestly is a theme that he's had throughout his career.
Right, like
it's like when it gets close,
yeah,
or
like
there's
fourth
hurry up
quarter,
offense, and
2 minute.
it's like he doesn't have to think as much, and he just kind of
Right, which I think is a little
performs.
maddening. It's like, wait a minute, in these supposedly pressure-packed situations, you are at your
I will
your
give
best.
him that. He doesn't
Right.
really get too rattled in those moments.
So that's kind of the flip of it. It's like, well, when I say what do I want to see in him tomorrow, to some quarterbacks you'd say, hey, I want you in a 2-minute situation. How do you handle that? Well, with Richardson, that's actually been one of the areas he's been pretty good in. It's more of the, again, boring reel,
Right.
highlight reel. James brought up earlier, the Colts were in a red zone period yesterday with 20-some plays, and they had 1 touchdown?
Yeah.
I mean, that is awful. So, for those that are just tuning in right now, the offensive operation yesterday, it started with penalties and protection issues. That was the root.
Which
of
is maddening.
So much, beyond maddening. So much of it. Yes, when there were clean pockets there, Richardson was 9-20. So you really, yesterday was kind of the full Richardson experience too, as much as anything. Great finish, but 9-20 with, a big interception over the middle of the field. So, it just a really rough day for the offense.
All right, we'll get the perspective of the voice of the Indianapolis Colts, Matt Taylor. Mate stops by next. It's the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, Jeff Rickard, Mark Dykton on the 1s and 2s, and it comes your way next.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. However you're listening to us, we appreciate it. And we've been talking about the Colts all morning long, but now it's time to turn to a very different perspective here. He calls the games for you on the radio every week, and he does a great job with all the shoulder programming during the evenings and afternoons, and we love having him be part of the team here. He's Matt Taylor, the voice of the Indianapolis Colts on the Payless Liquors hotline. How you feeling after that little joint practice yesterday, Matt Taylor?
By the way, why do they call it shoulder programming? Why don't they call it knee programming or back programming or supplemental programming?
Because shoulders are strong. They're broad. They carry things.
Nothing says you talked to Jake Query too much yesterday, like you bringing that up.
I mean, that's the programming nerd in me. Why is it always called shoulder programming? Why not supplemental or in addition to?
I want to call it whatever you want. You're the wordsmith.
It's all good, boys. It's good to be with you. Yesterday, very up and down. I thought it was very easy to say that both defenses in the joint practice yesterday were pretty dominant. And, you had some sloppy play, especially from the Colts offensive line. You had pre-snap penalties, which are just going to drive you crazy if you're Shane Steichen and Jim Bob Cooter. You had turnovers, drop passes. You had errors that led to turnovers and interceptions. It was just, I thought, in kind of an unfortunate way to wrap up practice at Graham Park in front of the fans. But, football is a microcosm of life. You're not going to win them all, and you got to take some lessons away from it. You got to learn from it and try to bounce back in a preseason game against the Packers coming up on Saturday. You're going to have a good opportunity to do that with the starters playing, and sounds like the Packers aren't going to play any of their frontline players. The Colts will for about a quarter. So in that quarter, that first 15 minutes, obviously you want to see the Colts go out and dominate and, get some stops, a couple 3-and-outs, maybe a takeaway. Malik Willis is going to start. He didn't look all that sharp yesterday. You want to see the Colts move the ball, be clean. You just want to see a pretty efficient 15 minutes when you got 1s versus 2s and 3s from the Packers tomorrow afternoon.
He is Matt Taylor, voice of Colts. Him and Joe Wright's coming up tomorrow here, 1 o'clock is game time. We'll have your coverage. What are we? Are we 10? Are we 11 tomorrow? I kind of forget.
We start at 10 tomorrow, yeah.
10 with our pregame coverage for that one. I asked Greg Rakestraw this an hour ago. I will ask you, Matt Taylor, about a series or two for Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson the rest of the first half. As succinctly as you'd like, what do you want to see from number 17, and what do you want to see from number 5?
With Daniel Jones starting the game, I still think there's incredible value to both guys going through the process of starting a game and knowing that a couple of days before the game, you're going to be the starter. I think, going through pregame warmups and taking those first snaps and leading that first series, I still think there's something valuable to that, which is why I think the Colts are sticking with the plan for Jones to start the game, but for Richardson to play more snaps overall until halftime. So with Anthony Richardson, you want to see him be clean, and you want to see him continue to focus and thrive in the middle of the field between the numbers and the intermediate part of the passing game. We've seen flashes of that in camp, and we've also seen him still kind of struggle with that a little bit. So especially against a second-team defense from Green Bay, you want to see him continue to excel in that area as best as he can going into the regular season if he's going to be the starter for this team, because you guys know the middle of the field is where the coverage gets a little bit tough to read, interpret. It gets a little cloudy. That's where things kind of break down a little bit, and obviously that's where most of his struggles in the passing game the last couple of seasons have come. And then for Daniel Jones, you look at his camp so far, and the completion percentage is right around 70%, not to nerd out a little bit, but it's been kind of where he's been throughout the course of his career in terms of overall accuracy. He's had his moments here and there in terms of big plays, but for the most part, as you guys know, you watched every practice. It's been very high completion percentage throws. Intermediate part of the passing game is where he's excelled, opposite of Anthony Richardson for the most part, right? I'm talking generally speaking here. But for his career, he's been in the low 6s when it comes to yards per attempt, where the NFL average is in the 7s. So, I want to see some big plays out of Daniel Jones tomorrow. I mean, take them when they're there. Obviously, don't force them. But, I think that he can do it, and I think that this offense really needs it. I mean, Shane Steichen is very much a proponent for getting chunk plays because you guys know it's hard to score when you're going 10, 12 play drives and possessions. I mean, so many things can go wrong. You got a protection that breaks down, or you got a pre-snap penalty that puts you behind the chains. It's just hard to score points when you're so methodical. So, I thought this was incredibly fascinating that Daniel Jones last year started 10 games, and so did Anthony Richardson. But Daniel Jones completed 90 more passes than Anthony Richardson did last year, but he only totaled about 250 more passing yards than Richardson. So, I mean, that kind of speaks to the, take what's there and the high completion percentage and the low threats of putting the ball in danger, if you will, if you're Daniel Jones. So I want to see a good mixture of him, still commanding this offense and, taking chances and pushing the ball and getting the ball down the field to guys like A.D. Mitchell. And I don't know if Josh Downs is going to play tomorrow, probably not after leaving yesterday's practice. But, guys like that, Alec Pierce, same thing. I don't know if he's going to play, but there's plenty of weapons within this offense to take those deep shots and kind of loosen up the defense.
Mate, I do want to pivot a bit to, you alluded to some of the, other pass catchers potentially helping out, a guy like Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, one of them being Tyler Warren. I tried to get too hyperbolic with rookies because you still want to see it on Sundays, but he had an incredible catch down the seam in that last 2-minute drill yesterday from Anthony Richardson, and it seems like every few practices, if not once a practice, he has one of those catches. So how do you feel about how he can fit into this offense and what he could mean for this team moving forward?
Yeah, I'm so excited because they can get him involved in the screen game. They can line him up in the slot. They can line him up at the true wide tight end. They can flex him out and be right behind, like a wing, if you will, behind a tackle. The great thing about Tyler Warren in terms of his versatility is, and we've talked about this before, is that when he's on the field, he's not going to tip to the defense run or pass because he's very serviceable, and that's probably an understatement for him in the blocking game, when the Colts decide to run it formationally. But obviously he can do so many things catching the ball too. And when you go 2 tight ends on the field, it's almost like having 3 receivers because of how good he is. So you can play with Mo Alley-Cox and Tyler Warren, and you don't really tip your hand to the defense saying, hey, this is an obvious run down because we've got 2 tight ends in the field. Well, I mean, Warren's a tight end, but he's also like a slot receiver as well. And if you put a linebacker on him, I mean, good night, good luck. I mean, he's just so athletic, and he's also incredibly physical. So he's just, like I said, I mean, he can thrive in 2025 football because of how spread out it is, but he could also kick some butt if it was 1975 as well. He's just like a throwback player. So I'm incredibly excited to see just the creativity and the versatility that we continue to see out of Tyler Warren. And I think I've had to personally kind of recalibrate my expectations for him because I thought he was going to be like a 3 to 4 catch per game guy. Now I think that might be 4 to 5 or heck, maybe even 6 catches per game. At least once per quarter, he's going to get involved with some run after the catch, some screens, some drags over the middle, and he's just going to come up, I think, with some very clutch and timely receptions this year. And I think he's going to have a very active rookie season.
Matt Taylor is the voice of the Indianapolis Colts, joins us on the Payless Liquors hotline. We've been talking a little bit about injuries and the fact that everything is guys are progressing. Do you know anything more about injury situations for guys like Alec Pierce, what happened with Josh Downs the other day? What's going on with some of the defensive guys? Can you give us any insight of where we're at right now as we go into a second preseason game?
Yeah, I wish I could. I just know that it's not ideal. And, Alec Pierce still missing this week. And you had Josh Downs, and he looked pretty frustrated walking off the sideline yesterday with his hamstring injury. I mean, he was able to walk off, but he looked pretty discouraged at however it went down. I'm really concerned about what's going on in the secondary just because that seemed to be on paper such a unit of strength for the Colts going into the season. And now, not to say that it isn't, but those guys have to come back to make it a strength because you've got the experience of Jalen Jones. He's basically been a full-time starter for you in each of his first 2 seasons. Justin Wally was an absolute, that was gut-wrenching because he was going to be good. He just was. And the Colts trusted him to do a lot. And so that part's really unfortunate because you're losing a playmaker, but also just another key depth position. I think Kenny Moore is going to be fine. He seemed to be in good spirits. I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow after not practicing yesterday, but I think week one for him is probably not in jeopardy based on just, again, this is just my interpretation of things with body language, and he's out of practice and he's smiling and he's getting around pretty good. So they're probably playing that one pretty safe. Maybe the same thing with Alec Pierce, but we'll have to wait and see. But it seemed like, you guys know, the first 2.5 weeks of camp, it was pretty good from an injury standpoint. You were knocking on wood at that point, but now, the injury bug is starting to rear its ugly head, and there's some complications in terms of the roster mechanics towards the end of training camp.
He is Matt Taylor. He is voice of the Colts with us here on the Payless Liquors hotline. Mate, your level of belief in the Reds in the final month and a half of the season, can you compare that to your belief in a Colts player?
Well, that's a good question. Now, speaking of Jake Query, that's a Jake's question right there.
I know. I hate to say that Jake rubbed off on me, but he did.
Yeah.
I
guess
mean, we're only half game back. The Mets look like, unbelievable.
Yeah, I would say, let me answer it with, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do I feel the Reds are going to nab one of those wild card spots? I'd probably put it at a 5. Like, right down the middle. Like, you're not going to surprise me either way. Like, if you start to get hot or continue to play good baseball, because they are right now, the pitching's been great. The bullpen's been really good. They're getting some timely hitting. They're hitting some bombs. The grand slam the other night to kind of break open that game against the Phillies. But I don't know. I'm too jaded as a Reds fan, so I'm going to split it right down the middle and say I wouldn't be surprised if they fade and fall off a cliff like they did 2 years ago. And I would be pleasantly surprised if they get in and give me some pleasure from a sports angle in October, give me something to look forward to and watch, once postseason baseball happens, which hasn't happened since 2020 for the Reds.
I haven't even looked it up. Are they home next weekend? I didn't know if you were going to double dip or just make the drive down Saturday.
I think they are. I looked when the schedule came out. I want to say that they are, but I can't remember who they play. So, yeah, I'm just a big ball of uncertainty right now as far as their schedule goes.
They're on the road next weekend against the Diamondbacks.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, they got a big
home
West Coast
for some
trip coming up here, yeah.
Yeah, their schedule down the stretch is very tough, whereas the Cubs' schedule is very easy. You got to give it to the Cubs. I mean, I know they're kind of waffling a little bit, but I think they'll rebound and play some good baseball down the stretch. But
did you say that just to make him?
What?
Did you say that just to make
That's
Mark
the
happy?
softest thing I've ever heard you say.
It's very kind of you, Matt Taylor.
Their tough schedule is at the beginning of the season, and they navigated that thing pretty well. So if they can.
Did you buy him a Woodhouse gift card, too, for a spa later for Mark Dykton?
I know he's getting the blue power right now.
Yeah,
I figured it out.
There you go.
I've nailed it
There
down.
it
It's
is.
Matt Taylor. Matt Taylor gets it.
Man.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got no issue with people are going to throw tomatoes at the radio right now, and I get it, right? Hot take. I got no issue with the Cubs. I have no issue with the Cubs. Now, Cubs fans, on the other hand.
Oh, boy.
Dang. You
just
started
lost the
clapping too
power
early.
right
That's
now.
a different story.
I'm not in that category. I just
Listen,
assume I'm not in it.
I've had 2 just absolute miserable experiences at Wrigley Field.
Thank you. Tell us more.
No, I'm going to leave it at that. But I've had just 2 absolutely miserable experiences.
That's why
by
I've never
Cubs
been,
fans
Mark.
Just acting like you know what. But yeah, I'll just leave it there.
You in the mood for any voice imitations today?
I don't know. Should I be?
I don't know. We've just gotten some requests from some listeners. I'm just curious if you were in the mood.
I'll get in the mood. For you, Jeff, I'll always get in the mood.
Whoa.
Well,
Clip that, Mark.
you have no idea how long that is going to live on. David wants a prediction.
I would ask Jeff when's the last time you've heard that, but I don't know, man. After that text message
I'm too
we
tired.
received yesterday from the old picture from old Tracy there, I'm gonna say it's not too long ago.
David wants a Don Fisher call of Anthony Richardson to Tyler Warren.
Oh, okay. All right. Put me on the spot here. All right, let's go. All right. So give me a situation here. Is it third down? Or are we in the red zone? Where are we at?
Oh, it's got to be like 8 seconds to go,
Man.
4th and goal
Matt
at the
Taylor can
9-yard
get in the
line.
mood ASAP. That is excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent work by him.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, Kevin. All right, that's the key. It doesn't take much. 8 seconds to go in the ball game in Indianapolis Colts football. And they're out of timeouts here inside the red zone. I almost said Indiana, but it's Indianapolis Colts football. And now Richardson lines up in the shotgun. The ball's on the left hash. 2 receivers go to the left side. 3 go to the right, to the far. Tyler Warren split out wide to the right. Shotgun snap to Richardson. Plants in the pocket. Throws. Right corner of the end zone to the pylon. Throws it up for Tyler Warren. He got it. Touchdown. Touchdown, Indianapolis. And the Colts in walk-off fashion knock off the Denver Broncos 28-24 in this ball game.
Excellent work. Excellent. You've got the blue
Man.
Powerade back.
Unreal by Matt Taylor.
That's how you finish it off right there,
Gosh,
buddy.
that was great. That was better than
Throw
the
it up
Colts
to-
end of practice yesterday.
Throw it up to your best player and let him go to work.
I like it.
That's my play call in that situation.
I like it.
Excellent.
Good job out of you,
Oh.
man. Have a great evening, great rest of the day and into the evening, and enjoy the game tomorrow.
Well, now I don't know what I'm supposed to do because now I'm in the mood. So let's just keep going. Like, off the air, I'm just going to be doing this, to whoever's going to listen for the rest of the day.
There you go. We'll give you a Cam Bynum interception next week. How about that?
I like it. I like it.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
All right, see you guys.
He's the one and only Matt Taylor. He's the best.
Oh, it's so
The
good.
absolute best.
So good.
Oh,
Boy, Indiana
man.
football, what? Is it a week from 2 weeks from tomorrow?
Got Old Dominion
Is that
coming
right?
up.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Got high school football starting next week.
Yeah, I got to figure out which game I'm going to.
What are you
gotta
thinking?
Pull up.
You were talking to Greg a minute ago. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I just said I got to figure it out.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought maybe you had 2 or 3 on your mind.
I mean, Lawrence North, Lawrence Central is always a good one. I think Lawrence North is probably going to smoke them, because they've been so good. So the rivalry might not be as good this year. But like I said, I got to do some exploring on johnharrell.net. Shout out to John Harrell, the legend.
All right. Let's check things down, Mark Dykton, and we'll try to get a traffic update for you of tomorrow's football game after that. Oh, here he is right now. Johnny on the
He's
spot.
walking in with some purpose.
Just in time. Matt Baer, who is our traffic guru most of the time over there at WIBC,
We go from one legend to another.
just walked in the studio. And, Matt, we may have a traffic problem at 1 o'clock kickoff tomorrow, do we not?
We may have several.
What's going on?
Oh,
Just so people know.
Oh, my goodness.
Just so people know, how are they going to be able to get to the game tomorrow?
My best way to get to the game tomorrow is take 70 and then take the Meridian or West Street exit, because here's what we're doing, guys. Northbound 65, I'm trying not to talk traffic. I just got off the air. 65 going north on the south side is going to be closed. And that's a very important corridor if you're going to Colts games on Sundays, okay? This is from 465 up to the South Split, and that whole corridor is going to be shut down beginning tonight at 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. Monday morning. So if you're coming up from Greenwood, or you're coming up from Terre Haute, wherever else you might be coming from, Louisville, I don't know, northbound 65, once you hit that 465 interchange, you're going to be diverted to 465.
Yeah, no choice.
And you're going to have options from there. Okay, now you can always come up on Madison Avenue, but keep in mind, Madison Avenue's under construction. And it's down to 1 lane going north from Pleasant Run up to downtown. So the reroute is construction too. Leave yourself plenty of room tomorrow when you come to the game, okay? Because there's one more thing. Do you guys want the one other thing here?
Sure. Of course.
Why not?
Okay. West Street is down to 1 lane from Maryland up to I-65. So when you're coming in, say, from the northwest side, coming down from Lebanon, whatever you might be doing, and you peel off on the West Street, that's going to be under construction as well. So I'm stressing maybe not so much Indy 500 rules tomorrow where you get up at 4 a.m. and come to the game, but maybe just leave a little bit earlier than what you normally do, because you could get in it if you're in the wrong part of the city right
So
now.
should we Washington Street it up? Like, are we around the zoo area? Is that not the most
Washington
of it?
Street's going to be okay. There is one bridge over Eagle Creek on the west side that's shut down right now, but Washington Street's going to be okay for the most part. Now, on the east side, that's under construction around the Irvington area. You're going to see lane
Matt just told me to get a
restrictions.
bike, basically.
Yeah, get a bike. You get a bike, chopper
Should
in
we
if
have
you
flying
can.
cars by now?
Scooter it up.
Yeah, the
Been saying
scooters
it
are going to
for
be
years.
popular tomorrow.
But that's what I have, guys. Basically, it's been a year since you've come into a home game for the Indianapolis Colts, and things have changed dramatically.
Is it going to get better by the regular season?
No, not necessarily, because this construction on Madison Avenue and this construction zone on I-65 won't be finished until the end of next year. It is a comprehensive project, and all these are going to either add lanes or take lanes away from these particular roads. So it's going to be a minute.
So you're telling us to just get used to it.
Just get used to it, yeah, for now. I hate to say it, guys. I hate to say it, but that's what it is for the moment.
All right. So is there a place they can go online just to double-check their routes tomorrow, maybe?
Absolutely. You can follow me at WIBC Traffic. You can also Google the I-65 Safety and Efficiency Project, okay, because that'll keep you up on the I-65 stuff. I also use 511 for road construction if you really want to plan out your route, and I suggest you do. You can go to 511in.org, and that'll get you straightened out.
Thanks for coming in, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's going to be, man, just get there early. Plan on getting there early. You might make kickoff.
That was a nice, detailed way to put it, but certainly wake up a little bit earlier. Get on the
move.
All
right. Now we'll check things down now that we got the really important stuff out of the way. Mark?
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, 1 o'clock tomorrow, preseason game number 2, Green Bay Packers at Lucas Oil. They'll probably be okay as they get bust in there. We've been talking about the quarterback battle, and it'll be Daniel Jones getting the start, but not for long tomorrow, right, James?
Yes, they will pivot, at least that remains the plan, to Anthony Richardson for most of the remaining first half. So we'll see how the quarterbacks look, and I think it's another big evaluation period for both.
Kevin, anything in particular you're going to be looking for tomorrow outside the quarterbacks?
I guess kicker a little. Spencer Schrader missed one from 33 yesterday, which is not good. I don't think we're back to a true 50-50 competition, but maybe something to keep an eye on. And then your defensive starters will play a quarter. Now, again, Green Bay is going to play backups. So, like yesterday, I think you want to see the Colts be the superior unit there. Malik Willis looked pretty bad, and the Colts had some doing with that. So those would be some other items to watch.
All right, 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon kick. If you're listening on the radio, our coverage begins at 10 a.m. here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Talking about scheduling, the Indiana Pacers had their full schedule release yesterday. 9 games they're calling nationally televised games. But
nationally
many of those,
available.
Yeah, nationally available.
Asterisk.
Amazon
nationally available.
And Peacock. They will open up on a true nationally televised game. I guess even you got to have ESPN to watch that first one, though, against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
That will be on FanDuel.
Everybody has. But that one will also be on FanDuel?
The Peacock and the Amazon Prime up in the air whether that will be available on FanDuel. I think there are some thoughts that it won't be. But yes, ESPN, I think, is always with the NBA done. You can watch that on your local outlet.
All right, so we look forward to that. The Milwaukee Bucks and Miles Turner come to town on the 3rd of November. Anything else you're really looking forward to seeing with the schedule being released yesterday, James?
I see they have an NBC game. This is way late in the season against Minnesota, April 7th. And so I'm excited for that because I did not experience the NBC NBA era, and people told me I missed out. So hopefully I can, get some nice throwback feels from that.
You hit round ball rock hitting.
I know.
My God.
Just missing Marv Albert.
I was listening to
that as a re-entry.
I listened to Carmelo Anthony talk about this on his podcast, and I was like, I have never heard of round ball rock in my life.
You've heard the song. You'll know it when you hear it.
I remember Ahmad Rashad. I remember he used to do a lot of NBA stuff.
Well, didn't they play it during the Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
I didn't know.
I didn't know. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well,
round ball rock hitting, you knew you were in for a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it didn't even matter if that game actually ended up stinking. You heard that song, you're like, I'm in the zone now.
Well, that's what I'm trying to look forward to.
I like it. Speaking of basketball, tonight, Fieldhouse will host the Indiana Fever and the Washington Mystics. It'll be game number 12 that is missed by Caitlin Clark, and they're still kind of hanging in there in the playoff run. They have lost 3 of their last 4. They can try to get a chance to turn it around tonight. 7:30 airtime here on the Fan, 7:15 with Eddie Garrison and the pregame show. And Major League Baseball, the Cubs losing to the Toronto Blue Jays yesterday, but Kevin, even though the Reds didn't play, they did advance in the wild card standings because the Mets lost again to the Atlanta Braves.
Half game separates the final wild card spot. That would be the Mets from the Reds. Yes, the Mets have been horrific lately, and that makes me happy. And Mark Dykton, you have wish-washed all day. Are you a Reds fan or are you not this weekend?
Prove it to me. Show it.
So you're only a fan if they win? I mean, that's the softest fandom I've ever heard. You declare it now. Either you're a fan or you're not.
This is like you with the Mondos. Help me help you. Help me root for the Reds by winning. If you're not going to win, then what good are you for me? Nothing.
Your Mondo effort reminisced the Colts offense last night.
Indianapolis Indians got a nice 9-6 victory over
Yes.
Scranton, by the way, to get back in the win column. So that was good for them.
They are in the lead for their division in the second half of the International League. They are a few games behind, 4 games back in the International League overall, but they are leading their division, so they've got that going on.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you guys want to throw in? I know you were watching some golf last night, Kevin Bowen.
Do I do one more nerdy golf
yes,
shout out?
I'm giving you a chance to
Shout
put it
out to
out
the
there.
legend Jacob Modleski, the pride of Pebblebrook, the pride of Garin, the greatest athlete ever to come from Theodore Garin High School,
There you
the pride
go.
of Notre Dame in the Elite Eight at the U.S. Amateur out at the Olympic Club. If he wins 2 matches, just 2, he heads to the Masters. If he wins all 3 and wins the U.S. Amateur, he'll be paired with Rory McIlroy in the Masters. It is the most illustrious college amateur junior golf title that is out there. Tiger Woods won 3 in a row at one point in his career. Jacob Modleski, the son of an Air Force pilot, out there trying to get it done.
I love it.
Why are you
Let's
laughing?
make it happen because you gave me more than I ever thought I'd get.
Well, let's get locked in then.
Let's go.
You coming over tonight to watch?
Am I being invited?
Clip this whole thing, Mark.
Invitation's open.
All right, let's go. I'll bring you a 6-pack. What do you want?
Well, I honestly, when I'm watching Jacob, it's all water.
Is that how it goes?
It's all water.
What kind of water? Fire water?
Whatever the old city water provides.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it during the break. It's take a look at the Indiana Fever in their game tonight against the Washington
during
Mystics.
the
We'll do
break.
that next here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You know this song, James Boyd.
I do.
Round Ball Rock.
Do you know the Nelly remix?
I do know. Why is this in your memory bank? I must ask.
By the way, how about Nelly and Ja Rule last night at Clips? How was I not informed of this, and why was I not there?
The fact that you brought up a Ja Rule concert is
In
hilarious.
2025.
Yes.
How was I not there?
There's a trend on TikTok right now where people will call their significant other and say, hey, you want to go to the Ja Rule concert? And they will basically laugh them out of the building.
Oh, I would have been under the awning there. I mean, that thing, or on, maybe even posted up
You
on
will
the
go
back
to a
fence.
Ja Rule concert?
Ja Rule and Nelly? Yes, of course.
Well, the and Nelly part is doing a lot of carrying right
That's what I
now
was
because
gonna
Ja Rule by himself.
Shout out.
Yeah, I'd be like, is
5 songs?
J-Lo going to be there?
Right.
Because I'm not showing up if
Because
it's not.
I'm real.
Shout out to my brother-in-law, Matt Lubbers, his birthday, his great wife, Claire, giving him birthday tickets to Ja Rule and Nelly. I can't think of a better thing. Great human,
Lil
Matt
Wayne's
Lubbers.
gonna
If
be here on
I got
Sunday.
tickets to Ja Rule and Nelly for my birthday, I'll be looking at her like, well, hold on a
Oh,
second.
stop
Do
that.
you love me?
Disrespect.
It's a white elephant gift
I'm
in
serious.
July.
Like, did you
or
win this in a
August.
raffle?
I call that birthday gift of the year.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, we know how to take care of him next time.
Mark, do you have a re-entry for the final segment?
Tickets real cheap.
We'll hook him up.
Can we
to
get
that.
some Ja Rule to end
Sure.
it here?
Yeah,
end
just
the
for
week.
you.
Sure.
Nothing says hour 15 like that.
put it on me.
Now that rivals some
I was
Don
gonna say,
Fisher,
that's
Matt
pretty good.
Taylor right there.
We've been dabbling in the text line all morning long, and we were talking a little bit about some of the great events with Greg Rakestraw that have come to Indianapolis, and the fact that, hey, start connecting dots, and maybe there's a live golf tournament coming to the Brickyard at some point soon, Kevin Bowen. But Texter thought might be late to ask this question, but what are y'all or Greg's thoughts on having an annual regular season Major League Baseball game at IMS? And do you guys think it's doable or feasible? We certainly have the space, but I don't know. Major League Baseball game at IMS? What do you think, Kev?
Well, I am all for any and all ideas. I think I've said college bowl game before. In the middle of IMS, obviously daytime would be needed there. And then at Bristol, they ran into a major concession issue. That was correct. So are we just letting people bring in their own food? Because, in the infield, it's obviously difficult to get to the concessions that are at IMS.
So
there.
it's like, oh, well, that's a good point.
And
Yes.
then, what do you do? I mean, where are you playing this game? Where are you making the baseball field? Just on the golf course?
Man, you'd have to put it in one of the turns just to have available seats somewhere, wouldn't you?
That'd be a lot of.
I mean,
Boy,
I
oh
just
boy.
I'm logistically trying to figure it out.
I'm trying to picture. You got a dirt track in one turn.
But
You
that's what I'm
obviously
saying.
turn
Logistically,
one,
you got
can't
some
do it.
issues there.
It sounds like a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I think seemingly when we have Doug Bowles on, he's so gracious with his time with us. I feel like once a year, I'm always asking him, "All right, what's the craziest event? What's the idea? Isn't there like a Winter Classic rumor been thrown around and all of that stuff?" So I'm all for. I kind of like to see Field of Dreams go back, honestly, for baseball.
Yeah, that was cool.
Do
That
they
was
still
really
do the
cool.
Williamsport game?
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think that's
sure.
actually Sunday.
Yeah.
I was watching a little bit.
Big
of,
Dumper is going to be in town.
Yeah,
Really? It's going to be the Mariners?
Mm-hmm.
that's Little League World Series is going on right now. I watched a little bit of it last
That's a
night.
Sunday night game, so Big Dumper is going to be getting all the kids out of their seats.
I like it. Got the Fever coming up tonight, 7:30. Airtime is 7:15 with the pregame show. Eddie Garrison here. They'll be taking on the Washington Mystics. Time for our Drive Hubler keys to the game tonight. James Boyd, what do you think the Fever need to do to get this victory this evening?
All right, so Coach Boyd checking in. Listen up, people. They lost by 1 point the other night to the Wings.
That was frustrating.
They had 18 turnovers that led to 27 points for the Wings, who, again, only won by 1 point in that game. So take care of the basketball. You cannot have 18 turnovers. Obviously, you certainly can't have a team scoring nearly 30 points off of those turnovers. So if you want to get back in the win column, that, to me, is the biggest key, one of the biggest keys to the game against the Mystics.
Shout out to Ty's Auto right now on Keystone. Jake Query says he's in there, and they've got the show playing overhead.
Nice.
Oh, I love this.
Thank you to Ty's Auto there. Hopefully the Query vehicle is getting fixed there. Really appreciate that. Yeah, James, I would echo certainly that. And it didn't feel like we got a Caitlin Clark update yesterday. So I just...
you getting worried?
3.5 weeks. Am I right here? 4.5 weeks?
I want to say it's been almost exactly a month.
Yeah,
No.
since the last time she's
I was saying
played.
how much is left in the regular season.
Oh, I'm
September
sorry.
9th is their final regular season game.
Yeah.
So we're less than a month away. One would think you need at least a week of practice, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 2.
Got 25 days to go.
So if you need 2 weeks of practice, that leaves you just a couple of regular season games before she were to get back. So, the calendar starts shrinking real quick here. And, her missed time is now approaching a full month.
It is a full month. Literally today,
Is
the
it today?
15th, is a full month since the last time
Gosh,
she
remember
played.
how fluky of a play that was? The backdoor pass to Kelsey Mitchell?
I know, man. I was watching it.
Makes you wonder, though, if all that stuff was related to the earlier injury and then compensating for that and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, Keys to the Game brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Check out your next car at drivehubler.com, Indiana's giant automotive group. Coming up in a moment, plans for the weekend. There's a lot going on, a lot to get through, and more music coming from Mark Dykton next at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
How come you're not up out of your seat like James Boyd?
Boy, I'm not trying to make a fourth baby over here anytime soon.
Ja
Rule.
Ja Rule's voice really does it for you, huh?
In the house last
We
night.
have found a Ja Rule fan
You're
in
the guy.
downtown Indianapolis.
You're
Ja
sign up
Rule
for
and
Fyre Fest
Ashanti.
right now.
Can we give some love
Yes.
to the lady there?
Well, she's the one that makes the song.
I was going to say.
Well, to some people.
Well, Kevin's signing up for Fyre Fest.
Are you more
Part
on
3.
the side of Ja Rule there?
Oh, boy, I'm jealous of people that were at Nelly and Ja Rule last night.
I'm just the people that were at Nelly. Not
You
so
were
much
busy
the
watching golf.
latter.
What'd you need to
Man
worry
is really
about?
about to down the Ja Rule hill.
Think about what we had up there in our northern Hamilton County suburb last night. We had a great joint practice. We got Live Golf, and we got Nelly and Ja Rule.
Wasn't Ja Rule involved in like the Fire Festival scandal?
Was he?
I'm about
Like
to look
prominently
this up.
I don't
involved?
think he wasn't. I don't think he was one of the parties to blame, though. Was
I
he?
need to watch that again. That thing
Yes,
was epic.
he was certainly a big party to blame. Yes,
Was
he was
he?
involved in this. Oh yes.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
I feel like there's a lot of blame there.
The event was organized by him and Billy McFarland. And if you ever tell me I did a deal with a guy named Billy McFarland, please check on me. That sounds like a scam in the making.
We might need a halftime show for Ja Rule and Nelly tomorrow.
People want
Ja
to know.
Rule love is real for you. I didn't realize it was this deep.
People want to know where you're watching your golf tonight, Kevin.
Golf Channel, baby.
Right? What time
Peacock
does it start?
6 to 7, and then Golf Channel 7 to 9 for Lord Modletsky.
There you go. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this now. Who's getting the? This is very important. Other people want to know. In fact, me. Who's getting the Blue Powerade?
Well, it's
Well,
got to be Kevin.
It sounds like Matt Taylor was getting it. He was
Well, fair.
He did take a slight at the Cubs at the end, but I could get it. He had some idiot fans by him, so the minority, not
You've
the majority.
been denied again,
Well,
Kevin.
I am a
Bo.
little
You're in
confused.
studio and you're being denied.
I am a little confused why Mark brought it in and then didn't drink it for 3 hours. Now it's lukewarm.
Well, maybe I just
What are you
didn't get-
saving it for?
I just didn't get to it. I have it just in case I finish the coffee or the coffee's not sitting well. It just helps rehydrate, so I let it sit there. So maybe just refrigerate it again, get it nice and frosty. Bring it on Monday again.
I'm not gonna
Another
lie,
goal
Mark,
you can try to reach for.
You have never sounded like more of my mom than
Yeah.
you did right
That's a
there.
little confusing to me.
That woman can save things with the best of them.
Mhm.
Tupperware?
No, I mean like just anything that she ever like eats or drinks, it'll be in the fridge. Like if I go home, she'll have a lemonade from like Culver's that'll be in there for like 2 days, and my dad will go to drink it, and she'll actually get mad and be like, "Well, that's mine," and I'm still waiting to drink it at the right time. This one, we went to Long's Donuts when she was here in Indy, and it was not the one on the South Side for those who are being picky, and she ate one of her glazed yeast donuts in the car, but she saved the apple fritter, I believe, for back home in Romeoville, and ate it like a day later. And I'm like, why did you wait that long? How could you wait that long? That's how she is. That's how Mark sounds right now.
3 kids. You got to survive in advance and save everything you can.
I was going to say, if they were around, Nora was in here right now, her
that'd be
tongue would be
gone.
blue right now because she would have
She would have chugged that
certainly
thing.
chugged it.
So, Kevin, tonight you got golf and then fever? Is that what's going on at your house this evening? Or are you going to do something else with the
It
family?
might be a 2-screen night.
I like that.
No,
I might hit
it's
the
a
State Fair
3-screen
again.
night because he's going to watch Ja Rule videos on the other one. Yes.
Have it up on
Sing
YouTube.
it, John.
This man said that would be a great. We got to raise the standards. around
Danny
here.
goes, I went to a Nelly concert at the Vogue about 10 years ago. He didn't show up till 1:30 a.m., sang 5 songs and left. I'll never forget. I think it was Chainsmokers and Flow Rider at
He was on top for a while.
Ooh,
what was
Flow
that
Rider
place
has
called? Was
some
it called
bangers.
that's
Revel?
a terrific show.
I think it was Revel downtown. Flow Rider's wearing a Jalen Rose jersey. I swear Chainsmokers didn't come on until 2:30.
Oof.
I bet
What
those
are we
5
even-
Nelly songs were bangers, though. Every single one of them.
Oh, look, Nelly's got more than 5.
No,
Don't
I'm
put
just saying if
Nelly
he
in
only
the same
played fi- if he
category
only
as Ja
played
Rule.
No,
5.
he was saying if he only
Oh,
played the
If
five,
you only
yeah,
played
yeah,
5,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
fired them all
Yeah,
off.
you're getting Ride With Me, Shake Your Tail Feather,
Hot in here.
Hot in Here.
Got
Well,
it.
I worry
Country
about that one
Grammar.
with Kevin because the shirt will be flying off right in the middle
Kevin's
of that
for sure
shot.
would have thrown his
I would've
shirt
had
on
the,
stage.
showing those washboard abs.
I would have had my little Band-Aid on.
Well, you do dress the part. There's nothing wrong with that. I do like the, I don't know if people can see it on the YouTube channel, but most people can't. The throwback Indianapolis 500 hat
Throwback.
looks
Yeah.
fantastic.
What do you call this
man.
color? Mustard yellow?
Yeah.
Mustard
It
yellow
is
with the
fire,
little
though.
braided thing across the top of the cap there.
Yeah, a little
Pretty cool.
throwback Indy 500 hat. James Boyd, what do you want to see? Tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Let's start with the quarterbacks, I guess.
Anthony Richardson, more than 6 snaps. that is the number one priority for me in all seriousness. Just play. Even if it isn't all that great, at least I can evaluate something because 6 snaps from last week was obviously not a big enough sample size. And then beyond that, as we talked about throughout the show, Anthony Richardson, can you make the checkdowns? I thought yesterday, Kevin, he missed a lot of the routine throws that he had been making throughout training camp. He had one in the flat to DJ Giddens that should have been a walk-in touchdown in the red zone and threw it way off target, and it was an incompletion. And you're just thinking, those are the throws that hold you back from being a surefire starter in the NFL. And then for Daniel Jones, can you get a little bit more explosive? Will you oblige your former teammate Xavier McKinney and throw the ball down the field just a little bit? And I'm not saying you got to be reckless, but if for a guy who I believe hasn't done enough to outright win the job, do you just kind of go for broke, a little bit? Or do you feel like you need to get a little out of character? Not out of character, but just a little bit more greedy, I think. And so those are the two things I'm looking at as far as quarterbacks. And then beyond that, I think defensively, that linebacker group, do you have a better showing than you had last week?
Yeah, I think those are good points. I don't get the vibe that Shane Steichen wants this quarterback competition to continue, but i.e. next week.
He ain't going to tell you, Kevin, no matter how many times you ask and how you ask.
Dikembe Mutombo'd us a lot, but part of me is like, does he not have any other choice? I asked him yesterday.
That's true.
Something effective like, do you owe it to your team? Like, is there any element of, hey, we probably need our starting offense to, practice with the guy?
That's
for 2
a
to
good
3
question.
weeks.
A fair question, too.
But is that all of a sudden trying to get to the answer to the question that still remains right now? August 15th, and you haven't committed to either one.
It's an old coaching adage that oftentimes you got a quarterback controversy. The team knows before you do who they want the quarterback to be and how they want to roll and what they feel most comfortable with. I don't know that even guys on the team can say that right now. I just want to see somebody grab it by the tail tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon and say, this is my job. Watch what I do here. And I just need one of them to do something like that at some point. Not just one drive, but maybe consistency. I know Daniel Jones, you said what? Going to play a couple series?
Yes.
Give me some points. Give me some points. Throw the ball down the field. And Anthony Richardson, if you're getting a quarter and a half, show me that you're in control of the offense and that you can move the football.
This sounds like a man who said A.D. Mitchell would have 80 catches. Jeff wants better quarterback play, as do all Colts fans, I would imagine.
A man can hope, can't he?
You can hope. And so we will see what happens tomorrow with this hope. And again, my biggest thing, Anthony Richardson, can you just stay healthy enough to evaluate not only in the preseason, but also throughout the regular season as well?
And again, you are bummed that Green Bay not going to play their starters. So given that, the Colts at the end of the first quarter, midway through the first half, they should definitely be the better team, both sides of the ball.
Right.
Welcome to hell, mother.
That's how I like to describe the Colts quarterback situation right now. That's exactly what it is.
I thought you were going to say that's what sums up a Ja Rule concert.
Oh,
that
my
probably.
Goodness.
Well, if it's Firefest, for sure.
It's gonna be like
Sounds like
the
Matt
Elmo,
Taylor going to a Cubs game right there.
Elmo meme with my hands up in the fire pit.
All right, everybody have a great weekend. We'll be on the air for Colts coverage tomorrow.